Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Jvsh and Reece podcast. Tonight's show is our keep and sell show for both Manchester United and Chelsea. This is basically the show, like our opinions on the players that we believe our clubs should keep and the players that our clubs should sell, or even potentially loan out, like there is an option. Either way, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and enjoy.
I've been all around the globe trying to protect your souls. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your souls. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
We welcome Julian Laurent to the podcast. Thank you, Julian, thank you, Jules, for coming on the podcast here. We just want to get your opinion very quickly on Frank de Boer. How do you think he's doing with the Dutch team so far?
completely useless once again. I mean, the formation is just incredible. He keeps trying to play with 3 at the back, 3-5-2 formation that clearly everybody apart from him in the whole world can see it's not working. His own players don't like it. His own players are saying, let's go 4-3-3, please. Someone needs to have a word. I mean, I'm happy to have a word with him and make him understand that this is so wrong. He's got such a good squad. They did some good things with Ronald Koeman, and then he takes over and the whole thing is a shambles. I really don't understand. And credit to Scotland, they were solid and well organized. They should have won that game, to be fair, if it was not for the Pies free kick at the end. That was not a free kick, by the way. But I mean, the ball is just, it's incredible, I think, how you can ruin a squad and the chance of going far in a competition like this.
Thank you very much for that, Jules. We appreciate your insight here on the Jvsh and Reece podcast. So after that embarrassing display the Dutch had against Scotland at home, what did Frank de Boer do against Jordan?
fucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Who doesn't love a bit of Frank de Boer? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jvsh YouTube channel here for our second episode of the Jvsh and Reece podcast. And of course, it just would not be a classic Monday night if we did not have a Douglas from the Dugout Football channel here with us. And listen, we're in for an action-packed show. So much to talk about. And there'll be some interesting opinions on some players. Victor Lindelof, Divock Origi, Team Bakayoko. So we've got a lot to talk about. So of course I welcome my two guests, starting off with you, Doug. Obviously Doug kind of just invited himself onto the podcast. He kind of just like, yo, I'm coming on tonight. But Doug, you're obviously, of course, you're more than welcome. How are you doing?
I am doing tickety-boo, my friend. Thank you very much for having me. I really do appreciate it. I really enjoyed last week. Sorry I couldn't obviously watch all of it last week, obviously due to work. But I really enjoyed it, and I think Monday's going to do the Euros as well. I think it's a good idea. So, but yeah, thank you very much for having me, and I'm really looking forward to this.
And then also we've got Reece, who is obviously my partner in crime with this podcast. Last week went really well, really good support. Thank you to everyone for all the support that you give me and Reece on it. Reece, you're back again, and I'm sure you've probably got your list ready with all the players that you despise.
It's all up here. It's all up here. I don't need to write it down. I've already got it up on the mental section.
So hello Helly, hello Miss Mina, hello Yeti. Obviously Reece is in the chat because he's that good. We all agree on Frank de Boer. Listen, how did that guy get the job at the Dutch squad? I don't know. Frank de Boer was one of the best Premier League managers. I think he had 100% lose record.
Yeah, it was.
That's genius.
It was 74 days in charge. He
almost
lost
as long as he's in their job.
He lost to Huddersfield Burnley.
He just lost.
Completely. Five defeats in a row and was sacked on the 12th of September. Yeah.
How did he get? Right. You've got this really solid, good Dutch team, right? Good core, right? You had Ronald Koeman, okay, left for Barcelona, fair enough. He did good things with him, and then you bring in Frank de Boer as the replace. Like he played 5 at the back against one of the worst international teams in the world.
If that's a dig at us, you're going to get a slap.
No, Georgia.
Oh, that's all right then.
Oh, Georgia, yeah.
Georgia, one of the worst international teams.
They played 5 at the back against us, and they were lucky they didn't get torn apart.
And also, what you see against Scotland? Why did he sub Wijnaldum and Frank de Jong on the 35th minute?
He couldn't handle David Turnbull.
Palace never scored when he was there.
That's very true.
That's very
Right. That leads me on very nicely, very quickly. Just to talk about Scotland. Obviously, Scotland have played their 2 Euro warm-up games. Obviously, the first game was against the Dutch, 2-each draw with literally a depleted squad because of COVID issues. It was a Scotland reserves, and you still watch to keep Frank de Boer's Dutch very quiet. And then obviously, you only what was it, Luxembourg?
Luxembourg, yeah.
Luxembourg,
should have finished 3 or 4-0, to be honest.
And you won 1-0. No, Luxembourg are actually a good side. They're
not a good side. That's not a dig at them. It's like it literally should have been 3 or 4. We just didn't convert those chances.
They're not
at least we beat Luxembourg. Luxembourg went to the Republic of Ireland and won. So I'm very happy that we actually managed to win.
Listen, Luxembourg's coach is really good. He's got a bunch of literally amateurs playing really well. But so I'll start off with you, Doug. 2 warm-up games, a draw against what's meant to be a very good Dutch side, and you go to Luxembourg in a friendly and still getting a result is positive. So are you happy with? Are you confident? Has it made you more confident going into the Euros?
I said it last week. Underestimate us at your peril. Honestly, I actually do think we can actually beat the Czechs on Monday. I also think the way that we played against Holland were fantastic. Like that second goal, the amount of speed that Andy Robertson had to make up after, like he was left back, and he just ran like the wind and put in a fantastic cross for Kevin Nisbet. And yes, it wasn't a free kick for the second goal, but very, very positive things to take away from that. And in the Luxembourg game, yeah, Reece is right. We should have beaten them about 2-3. Could have been even 4. They were down a man. It was a definite red card. Lyndon Dykes is clear on goal, and he could have shot, but he brought down in the end. But lots of positives, and one positive to take away from the fact I thought Billy Gilmore, when he came on against Luxembourg, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And actually, it's actually made me think now he should probably start against Czech Republic.
If
he's available to play, that's the only worry.
Is his injury serious?
Not that I've heard. All I know is that he just took a knock. They're going to test him, see if it was a possible concussion as well. But I think it was smart by Steve Clark to take him off, though.
Yeah,
very good managerial decision.
I think that's what Steve Clark said. I think it was precautionary levels for Gilmore. But for me, I thought Billy Gilmore was fantastic. I thought to be fair, David Marshall just showed why he's our number one. With a fantastic save low down to his right from the Luxembourg player. I don't even know any Luxembourg players, to be honest.
Lee Patterson and all, when he came on, he was brilliant on that right hand side.
Aye, so you've lots to look forward to, and I think Czech Republic are no mugs. Let's put it that way, because they've got Sufal, they've got Kral, they've got Socek, they've got some very, very good players. So I'm not taking anything away from that. It's just the fact that Scotland are now unbeaten in 15 competitive games. As I said, underestimate us at your peril. Everyone's got a fourth, everyone's got a third. Nobody thinks we're coming out of this group. So, as I say, underestimate us.
I still think we're getting second. I honestly think we're getting second in that group.
And go ahead, Reece. What do you think about the 2 warm-up games? Obviously, we were live on the night you were beating the Dutch. You were very happy with the draw in the end. Obviously, you should have won. It was never a free kick, as our fair guest Julian Laurent said. Do you? You're obviously very pleased with the Scotland squad, and justifying their reasoning for being picked at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's all justified. I think it was smart. My only regret about this team, I've said it numerous times. There's 2 players in there there's 2 players in this team that should have been picked, aren't there? One of them we couldn't even convince him to ditch the English, and that's Tavernier.
Yeah,
but that's a big miss. But Patterson's came in. Obviously, I know him really well in terms of the Rangers Youth Academy. He had a very good end to the season at Rangers as well as the right back when Tavernier was out. He had a solid end to the season. But also, you look at Ryan Gould's missed out and John Fleck's got in, which I think is a poor decision. But we'll see if Fleck's actually going to be justified. I don't think he's going to get a lot of game time. But I will say this, based on how McTominay played yesterday, frankly, John Fleck will get into that team. The way he played yesterday, he was awful yesterday. But other than that, I was impressed with the squad. I thought the results were fair. It was definitely not a free kick. I don't know what the hell the referee was doing awarding that. But frankly, it doesn't matter the area though. Memphis is a known set piece specialist. He is good with an eye for a goal from a set piece, and he's done it numerous times. He's done it against us. So it would be. I did say we'd win 2-1, but the fact that we drew 2-2 against Holland's top squad as well. That's their main squad, and we drew 2-2 with them. I'll take that. Honestly, I'll take that, because they're not an easy team to beat for anybody, regardless of how crap their manager is. They've always had a very good side.
And considering the fact that we actually, the last time we played Holland, we lost 6-0 as well.
Exactly.
So big positives. But as you say, Frank de Boer, there's probably 3 managers at the Euros right now who you're like, how on earth are they managers of these countries? Frank de Boer's one, Roberto Martinez is another one, and Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
Well, get on to Gareth Southgate. So I decided, because I am starved of football at the moment, Glenavon and Chelsea, that I decided to watch the England game against Romania yesterday. Why the hell did I bother?
You should have watched the under-21 European final. That was more entertaining.
And listen, England were so it's just like Jose Mourinho and Diego Simeone football combined. They were so slow. Romania have lost 13 games in a row. Their manager is close to being sacked, and they should have bet England 3-0. If it wasn't for Sam Johnston, England lost that game. And in our 2 Euro warm-up games, it took a lucky rebound for Saka,
And a
and
Henderson penalty to sky it.
and then a penalty to Mark Joshua, and then obviously Jordan Henderson decided to go AWOL and kind of screw up his penalty to make it 2-0. But England looked terrible, and the fact that, listen, I don't know about you guys, but obviously it was announced that Ben White's being picked for playing Trent. Does that just confirm that Gareth Southgate's going 5 at the back at the Euros, parking the bus, and it's going to be the World Cup all over again? Because
I said it on many podcasts, and I think you and Reece can clip me. I said the one person stopping this England team from doing well is Gareth Southgate.
So give
Because
him a
he's
limited.
limited as a manager. Absolutely limited.
Yeah, that does have a good point. I do think James Ward-Prowse should have been picked. He played really well against Romania yesterday.
I believe the player should have been picked as Lingard.
Or Lingard, Lingard or Ward-Prowse. One of the two. It should be no Ben White should be there over Tyrone Mings in the first place. I think.
Easy. Yeah.
I don't think Connor Cody should be in that England squad.
Connor Cody.
I like Connor Cody. Don't get me wrong.
don't.
I do like Connor Cody, but I just think he's had a poor season with Wolves, and I think Ben White has had a very good season with Brighton. And yes, I agree with Tyrone Mings. He should not be a defender. If anybody in that Aston Villa side in the back line should get in the England squad, it should have been Ezri Konsa. Why is Tomori not there either? Tomori's had a fantastic season with AC Milan.
And Southgate has his favourites, we all know that. And if he does go 5 at the back, if you think of that attacking talent that he has as a manager, and he's going to go 5 at the back, it's just it hurts my.
This is why I am confident of getting a result at Wembley. I think our midfield is better than their midfield. I actually do.
And the fact that against Austria and Romania, Austria are a decent side, okay, but England's superior than them, and they're far superior than Romania. They registered 2 shots from open play in both of those games.
Oh God!
And you think about the game, and you think about the game against Austria when he had Harry Kane, he had Saka, he had his first team players on. Okay, yes, against Romania he rotated a wee bit, but surely you can register more than 2 shots from open play, And Sam Johnson, he made a wonder save to stop Romania.
Oh yeah.
So I actually think he should start ahead of Jordan Pickford in the Euros. I think Reece may say, Reece probably will say Jordan Pickford because he wants England to do badly. Dean Henderson maybe does have a case, but that's it. We'll maybe talk about the Euros towards the end if anyone has any questions. But we're going to start off with our sold, kept, and loaned. We're going to go just in the positions of where each team finished. So second, obviously, United. Third, Liverpool, and fourth, Chelsea. So Manchester United, who's staying and who the hell is getting out? Right, we're going to start off. We'll start off with goalkeepers. Lee Grant. United are actually in contract negotiations with Lee Grant, even though you signed Tom Heaton. I take it you're like, get out, stop stealing 11 and get the hell out.
I don't even know why we signed him in the first place. So, I've never wanted him at the club. So, yeah.
Here's where things get interesting. Who you keeping and who you getting rid of between David De Gea and Dean Henderson? Because you can't, logically, you can't keep both on the wage bill. You can't keep one of them on the bench. You've signed Tom Heaton for a reason. So which one of these two are you getting rid of? And I'm sure it's not an easy decision.
Both.
You're keeping both?
No.
You're getting rid of both?
I would rather. I don't trust Dean Henderson enough as a goalkeeper, personally, even though he's going to be the number one. There's a goalkeeper that's now officially on the free agents list. I would rather have them both, and his name's Gigi Donnarumma.
Yeah.
I would rather have a world-class goalkeeper than a goalkeeper that's at the end, where you know it's not going to work. And Henderson, he's had moments where you really are doubtful about him as a goalkeeper. But if that was not to happen, I honestly think you're better off keeping Henderson, because I think the time for De Gea is to move on. If it was just between those two and you're not going to get a goalkeeper in, realistically, then I would be Henderson keeping De Gea to move on.
David De Gea is probably due a testimonial soon. He's probably been there almost 10 years. Yeah,
he's played 400 games.
And on Dean Henderson, I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. It's just the problem he has, I think, is the backline. I don't think he trusts his backline, and I think he's a solid goalkeeper. It's just the problem is is he a good number one? Now, he has proven recently he has looked a bit suspect, but I just think that's, with the players that are playing in front of him. But to be fair to Dean Henderson, he is a closet Liverpool fan, because he did actually let in Gini Wijnaldum shot for Sheffield United, and then he gave Mo Salah all the goal at Old Trafford. But joking aside, I actually do think Dean Henderson will be a good number one for Manchester United.
Moving on to actually just a quick comment, Reece, because I know you posted a lot about him when the retain list. Obviously, Romero, he's obviously gone. Obviously, we very briefly spoke about you. You think the treatment of Sergio Romero was disgraceful, not by Manchester United.
I will never forgive Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the way he treated Romero. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I will never, even if he's the manager, I will never forget that. Like, that is just disgusting.
Romero was a good backup too. He's a trustworthy.
He wasn't just the best backup. He wasn't just the best backup in the Premier League. He was the best backup in world football.
I think I actually saw a stat that he had the most clean sheets out of any Manchester United goalkeeper that's been in the club,
and the best save percentage.
Yeah, so I think this is a big mistake.
I think a lot of people were very surprised when the fact that Lee Grant was even picked to be the third choice goalkeeper over him after everything he did for the club.
Romero became fifth choice. He became fifth choice goalkeeper after Bishop as well. He was completely ostracised.
Why?
Don't know.
And Romero won the Europa League with you. Wasn't it? Mourinho picked him.
Europa League. He won the Europa League, the Community Shield, and they won the Carabao Cup. He started all 3 games.
And then Solskjaer, that's incredible.
Great servant to United. I think he might stay in the Premier League, to be honest.
I think he goes to Everton or Leeds.
I think he might stay in Everton or potentially Leeds.
If he goes to Leeds, it'll make me sick, but he would actually improve that defence.
And I think the other incredible thing about it all is as well with this is that Romero has probably been denied going to the Euros because of Solskjaer too, because he was always fair enough. Henry Martinez was probably going to get ahead of him after the season. Romero would have at least gone. Sorry, to the Copa America. He would have at least
I reckon he would have started. I personally think, even though Martinez is a great goalkeeper, I think Romero would have started, and I think it's just because of the experience factor of international tournaments. Like I think this is probably the last tournament you could have Romero, and then from like next year onwards, like the World Cup, continue with Martinez competing with Rulli, the Villarreal goalkeeper, who's also solid. But like, it's just hard to not single out Romero. He's been excellent for them.
Do you think Romero feels hurt by Solskjaer? I take it it must be terrible to be in that situation where you feel like you're a part of this club. David De Gea, you have a great partnership with David De Gea and the goalkeeping coach, and then Solskjaer turns around and says, "We don't want you anymore. Goodbye."
Just ask his wife how annoyed Romero is, pretty much. She went on a massive rant, and I don't blame her.
Moving into the fullback position, we'll start off with right back. So we've got, now, Reece, if I'm not wrong, I think we spoke about this last week too, but it does sound like Solskjaer is actually contemplating playing Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a centre back. Fabrizio has come out today and kind of ruined your current Trippier hopes, which I'm sure you're not particularly pleased about. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it's an interesting one. Would you keep him? Or do you think he needs to be used in specific games, or does need to change the centre back for him to fit into a Manchester United squad?
The funny thing is I actually said before Fabrizio Romano and all this crap, and like the Trippier and the whole centre back discussions came about Man United, I said on this show live last Wednesday that Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be used as a right centre back. Those were my exact words. He will be used as a right centre back, and 4 days later, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is possibly considering using him as a centre back. I'm like, is that man listening to me? I really haven't got a clue. If he is, you'll listen to these exact words when I say who you need to sign this in a few minutes. But I think personally he needs to stay. Like, I think he's got the attributes for a centre back, but he needs better coaching. I think the club in general needs better coaching for this to happen. But as a right back, I'm hoping we sign Trippier, because that means we can use Trippier against low block teams, which Wan-Bissaka to a degree he's not particularly strong against. I would use him against the likes of City and Liverpool, where they're pressuring us more, and that means we can use him for the pace to break the team play. Other than that, realistically, I would prefer him as a backup right back. I think if Trippier gets signed, Trippier will be the starting right back personally.
Right, what about Brandon Williams, who was the right back? He literally barely, as Mr. Alternative Manchester United commentary said, water is wet, Aaron Wan-Bissaka starting. Brandon Williams who played a fair bit in the season before as the backup to Luke Shaw, did not really get a sniff at all against a right back. So you probably think he needs a loan?
Yeah, I think a loan, preferably to a lower Premier League club. I don't want him in the Championship. I think he needs the more Premier League experience, more solid there. I think maybe a recently promoted Norwich, or even Brighton would be smart options for him. Attacking football, go for it from there. See, there's another one. See, I bring the people, and it's also a Man United fan. So, ching ching. I personally would send him out on loan. He's one of the few defenders I think does need to go on loan. There's maybe another one or two that has to go out, in my opinion, but he's one of them. And
then to the centre backs, got flimsy hamstrings by. Why did you give him a contract extension? This man honestly, I could bet you Doug could go around for a 10-minute run and probably stay more fit than Bailly could during the whole season.
I personally think the reason he's been kept is I think they still view him as an asset in terms of he's 26. He's to a degree he's got pace to complement Maguire. He's also very good on the ball, and he's actually very comfortable when he's pressed. It's just the liability factor for me is a worry, and it's why I would move him on. Personally, I would sell Eric Bailly, but not going to happen.
Here, Doug, I've got a good question to kind of put us into POV, all right? As a Liverpool fan, all right, you had an injury. Everyone knows you had a centre-back crisis this season.
We can have Phil Jones for free.
Would you have took Eric Bailly during that period, or would you have happily chucked Preston North End, Ben Davis into the back line?
I'd probably chucked Ben Davis. Honestly, Eric Bailly cannot stay fit to save himself. He's a great player on paper. But the amount of times he's injured,
he's made paper.
If you put him and Joel Matip in a defence, how many games would they be fit?
Please don't.
I'm literally putting it into context. If you had a back line of Joel Matip and Eric Bailly, how many games would they stay fit? You probably say between 2 and 3.
Well, Man United and Liverpool play roughly 65 games a season. So I would say you're looking at about 15 to 20. That's it.
Right, next centre back, and this is a quote from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think next season we have a lot of players who are coming back from injury who we haven't had for most of this season. And one of those players is Phil Jones, and it's going to be like a new signing to us. So Phil Jones, this man, he's known as Pink Boots. He's obviously the meme of the Premier League when it comes to honestly. Reece, what do you just? You don't even you just terminate his contract. You don't even just sell him. Just get rid of him.
I would have given him the boot in 2012. We do not need. That's an interesting quote. I would boot him out. I would honestly go. Here's your
5 minutes.
Here's your stuff. Here's your stuff. Here's your P45. Kick the cunt at Old Trafford. Honestly, I would. He should have been gone. He should have been gone. The year after we signed him.
Doug, I'll ask you the same question. Liverpool centre back crisis. Are you taking Phil Jones?
Funnily enough, Phil Jones would improve Liverpool by 20 seconds.
I would rather have a 50-50% Virgil van Dijk than I would want Phil Jones. That guy cannot defend. He's got very good face expressions, let's put it that way. But never ever in my lifetime do I want him to see him in a Liverpool defence, because he is shocking.
The funny thing is he did win as a league title, but he wasn't exactly at the core of it. He was just in and around, but fuck me, the guy is useless.
And on to another player who only got a Solskjaer, who United fans say has mistreated badly, Axel Tuanzebe, who apparently should have played much more games this season. He pocketed Mbappe in Paris. He probably should have started Europe League final. And he probably should have played. Jones is only good for gifts. I would take Jones at last because he always scores against Man United.
sad thing is he's not wrong.
So Tunsebe probably should have played more this season. He probably should have started over by. He most definitely should have started the Europa League final. It's a difficult one because you want to keep him, but we all know Solskjaer has his favourites in the Choco Brothers. So what do you do about Tunsebe? Do you send him on? Do you send him on loan for the fact that he plays, or do you just cross your arms and pray for the best that Solskjaer uses him?
He should have started that Europa League final. He had 3 very solid games towards the end of the season, like very solid, like Leicester, Wolves, Leicester, Fulham, Wolves in the exact order. But then he didn't come on until like extra time, which was ridiculous anyway. He should never got to extra time in the first place. But he should have started. I don't know why he didn't, but it really did piss me off. The problem is over the season as well is like after that PSG game, he got injured as well. Like he was out for a month, came back, didn't even get a sniff. And when he did eventually get a sniff, he was brought on with like 5 minutes to go to defend a lead from set pieces, and we all know how that ended. Like it's never sustained for Axel Tuanzebe. Personally, I believe he needs a loan, but I'll be honest, I'll say loan with a view to a buy. I think probably the best option is see if the Villa will take him back. He gets into that Villa team easily because Tyrone Mings is a murderer and Konza would be the perfect partner for him.
And then onto the Chucker Brothers, Victor Lindelof and Barry Chucker Maguire. I'm assuming there's one person you're absolutely keeping and the other one you're telling them to get the F out of the club.
Yeah, I'm telling Lindelof to stay and I'm telling Maguire to pack his bags and fuck off. Nah, I'll be honest with you. I think Lindelof's a good squad player, but he shouldn't be a starter. But I reckon if we were to sell Lindelof and buy, then we go and get 2 centre backs. I mean, it's easy enough. Like Varane's available for like 30 to 40 million. That's one. Then maybe a Pau Torres or a Botman. Then there you go. That's quality at centre back. Maguire, he has to stay. I mean, it says all really how bad our defence was when he got injured, which is a real shame as well. Like he played 72 consecutive games in the league, and it's a shame. Like he was unable to play. I reckon if he was in that final, Man United would have won.
Doug, Chris, a very brief, quick question on Harry Maguire. Obviously, Maguire's fit. He hasn't played in quite a few weeks. He wasn't used in the warm-up game against Romania. Do you think England are a bit screwed defensively if he's not fit?
Good question.
Yes, I do. Look, I think Ben White's a very good defender. John Stones is Tyrone Mings. Whatever you say about him, he's just ridiculously bad. I actually do think England will struggle defensively. I think they've got very good fullbacks. I think they've got very good, fullbacks, and obviously Walker and Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the 3 centre backs. If he does play a back 5, I'm not sure Mings, Stones. I don't think those 2 can play in a back 3. So I think they are screwed. If Maguire doesn't make the first game, I actually think that Croatia might do a job on them at Wembley.
Hope so.
See, they did it last time, so hopefully.
Okay, so on to I've not missed any centre backs besides the youth players, have I? That's all 4 of your centre backs.
The only other one realistically is Ted Mengi, but I think he's going to go back out on loan in the summer.
Right, left backs. Luke Shaw, I bet you're player of the season. I don't think anything needs to really be said about him, does there?
He's going nowhere.
And then Alex Telles. Now you don't rate him. Obviously, we don't have Mr. Kyle with us here.
Well, technically, it's not that I don't rate him. It's just I wasn't convinced fully by him. I just want to see more of him. And he did in the Wolves game. He started to prove me right, like in terms of this is what I wanted to see. But I need more from him next season. So I'm going to give him a little bit more time. I think he's a squad player at best. And if he ends up doing a lot better next season, he could get ahead of Luke Shaw. But we'll wait and see. But at the moment, I want him to see if he can convince me first.
All right, on to the midfielders. So now this is where I think things get a bit interesting. We'll start off with Uncle Matic. You give him a 3-year deal last season. Is this guy literally here? Is he going to be next season? Is his role like if we have an injury crisis, he plays? Otherwise, we'll keep him as far away as humanly possible.
Yeah, he'll be like cup games. Like he'll be using like the cup games predominantly, or if there are any like injury issues. But to be honest, I think the 3-year deal was a bit of a stretch. I would have given him just a 1-year deal. It's what Chelsea. I did, but that was predominantly the truth. Yeah, that's true. I will say it as it is. Like, there's no beat around the bush in me. If I think you're shite, I'll tell you you're shite. Like I'm gonna stand there and I'm gonna tell you the truth to your face. I'm not gonna lie. But he's actually shown a bit more in terms of like the last couple of appearances. Like he's convinced a bit more. I just want to see more of Telles, and I think it's the same for Van de Beek as well. When we get to him, like that's what I want. But in terms of Matic, the 3-year deal was wrong for me. It should have been like, just if you're going to keep him, do like a 1-year rolling contract until you decide we've got enough depth in the position. Now we'll move you on. But I think keeping Matic is a smart move, like because he's the only defensive midfielder we've got, and James Garner needs another year. I think if you go out and get a CDM, that's good. But if that midfielder gets injured, you're gonna have to rely on Fred and McTominay. And frankly, I would rather rely on a park bench.
So it's safe to say that are you saying sell Fred and McTominay, or they're not used correctly, or they can't play in a pivot? You know, what's it about McFred?
Not used correctly. They're used like two people to cover one position. They frankly can't play, and it's just not comfortable. I think it's just not comfortable watching them play together. I think it's just, for me as a combination, it just does not suit at all. I think Fred works really well with Pogba, and I think McTominay works better with Matic.
Onto the left-hand side of your team, Marcus Rashford, who was carrying about 16 different injuries throughout the whole season.
He shouldn't be in the England squad.
He shouldn't be due to the injuries, no. But
I agree.
Solskjaer overplayed him. Number one, let's get that straight. Solskjaer overplayed him. 2, Solskjaer wasted him on the right-hand side whenever he did play.
Mm-hmm.
Rashford's a very good player, but it feels like Solskjaer overused him or played him out of position. It's not, like, when he's played on the left and he's fully fit, incredible player. But when he's on the right, or when he played up front like he did last year in Martial's replacement, he's useless. So if you feel bad for Rashford, don't you? Because he either has to be played out of position, or he can't be fit because his manager doesn't rest him.
Yeah, it says it all really that Mason Greenwood's a much more versatile player because he can play all front three. And it doesn't matter what position he's playing in, he's been consistent. He's been extremely consistent. Rashford, he's had good numbers, but the injury problems are a real concern. The fact that he's not comfortable on the right-hand side if we need him like to cover is also a bit worrying. Frank, like he should be able to play front three if we want to be a fully functioning front three where he wants to rotate the forwards interchangeable. Like that's what he wants. And if one player can't play the other position, it's going to realistically damage our team's hopes. But either that, or you just, if you're going to interchange them, you just interchange the winger with the centre forward, and then you put them back into the natural position. You don't rotate all three. I think that's why he wants Sancho most of all. Is Sancho can do all three, and it could end up being whilst Rashford's recovering. Realistically, it could be a front three of Cavani, Greenwood, and Sancho, which, to be honest, works because it's interchangeable and it's fluid.
I'm going to say something here. See the way Marcus Rashford is going. See if he gets like one more serious injury, he's going to be like another Michael Owen. His career is going to be ended so prematurely.
Yeah.
The way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has overplayed Marcus Rashford to death is absolutely ludicrous. He has known that he's been carrying an injury, and yet continuously plays him.
The worst thing is, as well as the medical staff are saying that he's fine. It's just he shouldn't be playing him, and there's games where he doesn't have to play him. But I think he does it out of the fact that who else is going to play? But you saw at the end of the season, like the youngsters that came in, they were flying as well. But I'm like, just give someone a chance. Like
you feel bad for Amad Diallo, don't you? Because when he played for Manchester United, he played really, really well. And I understand he's young and all of that, but surely you play him over an unfit Rashford. You know,
yeah,
scored a cracking goal yesterday.
He did.
Yeah,
he's an option. Like even though I don't rate him, Dan James is an option as well on the left hand side. Elanga is also very good from the left hand side. He's also very good in the middle. He's played there at the academy as well. Shola Shortire as well. Like he's there. I mean, if he hadn't been bumped off by the club last summer, Angel Gomez could have filled the left wing role. Like, I rated Angel Gomez, but he felt he was overlooked because Mata and Lingard were given contracts they didn't deserve. And it just reflects really that there's good players wasted.
What Helly's just commented here just backs up Doug's point even more.
Yeah, he's having as soon as England's Euros are done, whenever that is, he's going for surgery. So you'll see him after the round of 16.
I don't think he starts any of the 3 group games.
I think he'll start against Scotland. I think he'll start against Scotland.
These are Helly has. I think that looks ready though. I think
you could ease them in, but you saw like how comfortable the likes of Diallo, Elanga, and Shorty, etc. have played as a front three. Like, they were comfortable. Greenwood as well. Like, he got thrusted into the squad when he didn't have to, and he's taken the team by storm. But I agree. I don't want them thrown in like consecutive games like what happened to Dan James, and I don't particularly rate him, but he was brought in as a squad player. But we didn't even reinforce the first team to allow him to be eased in. But if we sign Sancho, it gives a bit of time off him. If we don't get Sancho, we could get Rafinha, and that
Dan James must have been really surprised at like how much he actually played last season.
Oh yeah, I don't particularly rate him, but I want him to prove me wrong. Like, but I personally don't think he ever will.
Like, he started like a house on fire. If you remember the goal against Chelsea,
Southampton goal was like a work of beauty as well, and then the Leeds goal as well, like in the 6-2 win, was impressive. But I know that's a good point. When they make a mistake, they get absolutely slaughtered, and it's a shame.
So, are you loaning Dan James then?
If we don't get Sancho, I would loan Dan James plus spend a bit of money and get Rafinha. Yeah. I would spend like 50-55 million and loan Dan James to Leeds to get Rafinha. I would.
I don't know if you'll disagree with me on this, but next one is Juan Mata. Is there seriously a point of keeping this guy? I understand maybe he's good in the dressing room and all, but is there really a point of keeping him, especially on 170k a week?
On 170 grand a week? No. In terms of experience and leadership to a degree, yes. As a player, no. He shouldn't be in the... I don't believe he should be in the team. I think if you want to keep him, you use him in a coaching role with the youngsters. I think his level of intelligence with the youngsters, he would actually improve them. But frankly, I think he's just taken a role for a player that deserves it. Like Hannibal Megbury's coming up really well in the youth academy. I think to a degree, and I like Juan Mata, I think he's blocking a youngster's opportunity coming through. So yeah, frankly, I don't know why we're going to offer him a new contract. He should be moved on, personally.
And then the last bench player of this front three, Donny van de Bench.
He'll get more time next season. I think he'll get a proper pre-season, and you'll see more from him.
It's hard to analyze Donny van de Bench because he literally came into the squad late, didn't get a proper pre-season.
None of our team did, to be honest.
Was he truly a Solskjaer style though? Because we all know Solskjaer massively wanted Jack Grealish last year. United just refused to even attempt to go for Jack, especially when Aston Villa were staying up. Mm-hmm. Do you think Van de Beek was just brought in by Ed Woodward saying, here we go, here's the signing for you, Solskjaer? Do you actually think Solskjaer really wanted him? Because it doesn't feel like it doesn't seem like he fits into the way Solskjaer wants to play, why that is.
I think it's a mix of both. Personally, like I think it's a mix of both. Like I think Van de Beek, in terms of what he is, he still needs to adapt to the league. He needs to show a little bit more because in games he wasn't really convincing enough. But I don't think he was that adapted to the league, and I don't think he had confidence in his ability. But do I think he was a Solskjaer signing? I'm not 100% sure. But what I can say is he's a player that does offer quality to this team. It's just, is he going to get more time to display it? I don't know. But I hope he gets a proper pre-season where he actually does play enough games to convince, because he is good enough. Right,
so next is Sexy Bruno. I don't think anything needs to be said about Bruno Fernandes. Let's just think about it that before you sent him, Andres Pereira was your number 10. I think obviously you're pretty happy with Bruno. I don't think you have anything to say about him.
I was glad we got him. I was waiting on that signing for the best part of a year, 2 years, in terms of just watching Portuguese football. So yeah, I'm glad we got him in the end. He's been a breath of fresh air. Like, he he gets slated so much for certain games where he doesn't turn up in. Like, are people blind? Like, he actually does turn up in games. Like, the only game I haven't seen him turn up in all season was that Europa League final. It's the only game where I can genuinely say he did not turn up or he had no influence. But people think, oh, he's got to score, or he's got to score a penalty to have influence. Not really. He can be effective by getting like a pass that leads to a goal. Like, but people seem to think, oh, he's got to score penalties all the time to be relevant. No, he doesn't. Like, he wasn't brought in to score 40, 50 goals a season. He was brought in to be more effective for the team in the final third. And that's why we didn't get Grealish as well. If we had Grealish and Fernandes playing against each other, that gap to City would not have been, 14 points? It would have been about 4 or 5.
Martial, this is maybe a bit more of a difficult one for you to answer. Obviously, the first season he played really, really well at striker, and it's also his first full season. Second year, I don't know if maybe El Matador coming in kind of affected his mindset. Yeah. I sort of think Martial has an attitude problem. I think that seems to be, you heard it under Jose quite a bit. He obviously clearly wasn't happy Cavani was signed to compete with him. He didn't take it very well and has slumbered since before his unfortunate injury. It's a funny one because this guy has the talent, but maybe he doesn't have the attitude to match it.
That's a fair comment. He's 25 now, and he believes he's a striker. With all due respect, Martial, give your head a wobble. Like, you are not a striker. You look at him, and he likes to cut in from the left to get for movement to get a goal. He's more of a winger than a striker. I don't know why he thinks he's a striker. He's not. He's got great hold-up play to play as a number 9, but he isn't a number 9. Like, he's definitely a winger. But like he said, he's been here. This is going to be his sixth season. It's going to be his 6th season, and he's had, in terms of numbers, 2 great years in terms of goals, output. The season not too long ago, and his first season under Van Gaal, they were electric numbers as well. I think it was 17 goals in both of those seasons. And yet, whenever there's competition, his head goes. And I'm like, you should thrive on that competition. I mean, who doesn't want to compete with a Cavani? Who doesn't want to compete with a Zlatan? Who doesn't want to compete with, even though he wasn't particularly great for Man United, who doesn't want to compete with a Romelu Lukaku? Those are 3 top strikers in world football, and you're telling me you don't want to compete. If you don't want to compete, piss off.
I'm gonna be straight and honest here. I think you should sell Martial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced. I have not been convinced. Yes,
if we sold him, I'd get Grealish.
He started like a house on fire with that goal against us at Old Trafford. But ever since then, I just don't know what his actual position is. Is it striker? Is it winger? Is it behind the striker? Honestly, and his attitude at times does stink. And I think the worrying thing is he's not actually in the French squad. Yes, I know he's injured, and I know he hasn't had the chance to get in the French squad. But you wonder if Manchester United are actually limiting his chances of actually going to a major European competition or the World Cup. So for me, if I was who am I going to say? Ed Woodward or Joel Glazer? Oh God! Even they saying those two, it makes me sick knowing what they did to get in the European Super League. But apart from that, if I was one of them, I would actually sell Martial.
You agree, Reece?
To be honest, if we were to get the right signings in the summer that can, frankly, strengthen the squad where we don't realistically need them, then yeah. If we don't sign someone to compete with Rashford on that left-hand side, then I would use, if we didn't get a Grealish, for example, then I would consider moving him on the left wing to compete with Rashford, where they were actually competing against each other really well. Jose's second season, when we got second, those two were interchanging a lot. But other than that, if we do get the right players in to do it, then yeah, I would happily take the hit. Spurs are going to end up looking for a striker soon. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah,
I think going there would actually work for him.
I don't think you'll get the money that you paid for him. I think you might just have to take a bit of a loss.
Possibly. I reckon if we are smart enough, we could get about 35-40 million for him. I reckon we could.
Final 2 players, Matador and Mason Greenwood. Greenwood obviously had an incredible season once again for his age. Obviously playing maybe a bit out of position compared to his academy days on the right hand side. But either way, this kid has played well. And Cavani, obviously, at first we thought Cavani wasn't staying. He looked like he wanted out, go back to Argentina. But obviously, he's enjoyed his time at Man United. Had an incredible second half to the season and stayed for a 1-year deal. I think Cavani, obviously Greenwood has. Obviously, I think when on the pitch, you've seen Cavani try and coach Mason Greenwood quite a bit. I think there was one time it was very memorable when I think Cavani was telling Greenwood to cross the ball a certain direction, a certain way, and the first time he did it, Cavani scored from a Greenwood assist. Obviously, you'll be happy Cavani's staying for at least another season, and and obviously Mason Greenwood speaks for himself.
Yeah, Greenwood's absolutely fantastic. Like proper wee talent there. Hard worker.
Such a shame he's not in the England squad.
He deserves
Southgate.
But it just shows like how smart he is. Like he knew there was a problem with himself and he decided, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Hello, Johnny Day. Thank you.
Rashford should do the same, in my opinion.
He should have done. I would have liked it if all the Man United players that played for England decided, you know what, we're not coming. I would have been all right with that. But other than that, nah, he's just an excellent player. And Cavani as well, like, what a revelation. Like, he deserves a lot of respect by a lot of people who wrote him off. Like, I think he deserves a lot of respect. And he just shows like how effective he's been. Like, it's fantastic, really. And he's going to go to the Copa America. I think they're I honestly think I'm calling it right now. I think I think Uruguay are going to win the Copa America right now. I'm putting it down.
Brazil may not even be in it. They're contemplating withdrawing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, but on just very, very quickly on Cavani, I was one of the few that actually said that it was a shrewd signing. I thought this was a very, very smart move by Manchester United. I thought it was a really, really smart move by Manchester United, and it's obviously been proven that he's had a fantastic first season. And I tell you, a fully fit Cavani is going to be
a fully fit Cavani.
Fire next season.
A fully fit Cavani with Bruno Fernandes consistently firing or getting assists in those games, Man United win the Premier League title next season.
I can also say I think PSG made a massive mistake letting him go because Icardi did nothing for them this year.
Oh, Icardi was shocking last season.
Icardi, ever since he left Inter Milan, he just hasn't been. He's probably one of the biggest flops.
To be fair, that's what happens when you do the dirty by another man's missus, and she ends up getting your career to a club that, frankly, suits you. Dirty scumbags.
In the words of Lucas Leiva, unlucky.
Right. Anyway, we've changed the overlay to red because obviously it's time to move on to Liverpool FC. Who's staying and who the hell's getting out? So obviously, Alisson. I said he's obviously staying. Yeah, there's not. Obviously,
yeah, he's got contract talks after the Copa America apparently, but he might be coming home very, very quickly apparently. But yeah, there's lots of stuff about that. Apparently, Firmino, and Alisson have actually said that they're not going to take part in the Copa America because of the rising cases of COVID.
It's a shame really because the Copa America, I always enjoy watching it.
Doug, were you watching that West Brom game live at the time, or were you working?
I was watching it live.
What was your reaction when Alisson scored?
It was just one of utter shock because I actually thought Nat Phillips had scored, and then you just see the cameras panning on Alisson, and I'm like, is that Alisson? Is that Alisson that's just literally scored? But no, from what he suffered last season with the loss of his dad, some games he wasn't great last season, but you can just say that Alisson has been so good for us. Like the amount of phenomenal saves that he makes, like that. His career will still be that defining save from Milik against Napoli. That was the one that saved us obviously to win the Champions League. But he's just been a very, very good signing, and yeah, hopefully he has a better season next season because last season I felt a little bit sorry for him because he did make a couple of mistakes, and I think some of the things that were said about him and some of the, like, obviously losing your dad is not the best either. So I hope he has a good better season next season. But yeah, Alisson will be definitely staying at Liverpool.
Do you miss Karius and Mignolet?
No.
Moving on to your second choice, Kelleher. This guy is rated for. This kid is rated highly. He was called up to the Irish squad for their friendlies. It's an interesting one because he obviously has to go up there ahead of Allison a lot. Right, he'll play the FA Cup and the League Cup. Do you loan him out and get another number 2 in, or as we'll up through 2 and 1, or do you extend Adrian's contract? I know he's not great, but do you extend Adrian's contract to let Kelleher go on loan, or do you let Kelleher sit on the bench?
It's a very difficult one because I think this guy is actually a very top class goalkeeper. I think he's actually going to be one of the Ireland's. He could potentially be an Ireland number 1 for Republic of Ireland quite easily. I think he is that good. He was solid when he came in last season. I don't think he put a foot wrong. In fact, he's only 20 years of age. He's got his whole 21. He's only got his whole life ahead of him. So I think if we do loan him out, I hope it's to a championship club, maybe even a Premier League club. I don't want him to go to League One. I saw the rumours that Ipswich Town were after him. In my opinion, just Ipswich, no, not for me. For me, it should be a championship club or a lower league Premier League club. Maybe even like a Brentford or well, he will get Watford because obviously Ben Foster's still there. Norwich he probably won't get because obviously some crew will think is still at Norwich. So Brentford would probably be the ideal place for him to go, I think.
And what would you do? What would you do with Adrian? It's weird because Adrian looked like he was leaving, and randomly contract talks opened, and now it's went a bit dead again. It's obviously you probably would keep him if there's no one else better that you could probably get than Adrian, because yes, he'll be remembered for that Atletico Madrid game where he probably cost you the game, but he did show good moments like the Super Cup against Chelsea when he had a really good game. So Adrian's a weird one. What's your view? Would you keep him as the third choice, the second choice, or would you just say, thank you for
in my player ratings for the season, I gave him a 0. So that kind of just says to me why I want him gone. Look, I've nothing against the guy. I think he was very solid when he came in to replace Alisson for those first 8-9 games of the 2019-2020 season. Obviously, the one that we obviously won the league. But just the Aston Villa game, I will always have butterflies because he just positionally. I've never seen a goalkeeper who looks positionally bad as Adrian did in that game. So, with the greatest of respects, he just gives me butterflies. So I really want Adrian to go.
Reece has decided just to copy me and go with the headphones. He's just decided to.
But if you actually think about it, though, if you can hear me, if you actually think about it, you're wearing the black and green, so you've got the Irish set, and I'm wearing black and blue.
Is it the same one that just kind of fixed up?
Turtle Beach ones.
Yeah.
These are PlayStation ones. But I thought, you know what? Fuck it, we may as well all be the same. This is a unified show.
Onto your back four, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He got a lot of stick this season. So some Liverpool fans give him stick.
I gave him a shitload of stick.
So obviously neutral fans really give them stick towards the end of the season though. When you went on that 10-game unbeaten run, he played really great. Old Trafford played out of his skin and that 4-2.
Tale of two halves for me for Trent. I think first half he wasn't great, but the second half I think he really came into his own. And I think he undoubtedly picked up the injury, which hopefully doesn't keep him out of pre-season. Hopefully he's back. But yeah, for me, well, obviously we're going to keep him. There's no denying that. I don't think we've got any chance of selling him. So
I'm going to throw you an unexpected question, like I always like to do on my podcast. Should you move Trent into the midfield? Do you see him as a right back for his whole career, or do you think that maybe it may not be under Gerrard probably more than Klopp by the stage, because Gerrard being your next manager probably. Would you move Trent into the midfield, or do you see him at right back the whole time? Given the fact that he is defensively, he can be defensively.
I think if we were to get a top class right back, then I would probably consider it. But right now, there's not really an awful lot of top right backs. So for me, I would keep him at right back to begin with. But then maybe if we do go for another right back, then I think probably maybe moving into midfield, but not right now.
You know what's funny? I'll say this, right? This is about Liverpool's midfield. You know what I reckon your midfield three will be within the next 2 years? Fabinho holding midfield, Curtis Jones and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield three.
Could possibly be that.
I
yeah.
actually think that'll be your midfield three in the next couple of years. Pains me to say, 'cause I think that Curtis Jones is a talent, to be honest.
If I'm not wrong, there was talk when obviously Southgate called for right backs up, but it was talk that Trent was going to be playing in the midfield. That's why Trent got called up in the end. But
That's why
Which
Ben White
game
got
has
called up as
Southgate
well.
seen Trent play in the midfield? You know,
I've never seen him play in midfield. I've never seen him play in midfield.
I have
but I
never
think he
seen
could
Trent
sit.
Alexander-Arnold play midfield.
He's got the making of being a right. When you watch him play, he's like Diogo Dalot. They can't defend.
Mhm.
Like they can't defend, but attacking wise, like they do offer something, but defensively they suck.
moving on to, you have to correct me here, but I think Nico Williams would be the backup to Trent as the right back. What is? He had a harder against France with the handball, which got him sent off.
It was never a red. I'm sorry. It was never a red card.
I think the fact that in football 2021 we're using VAR to check handball, red card in a friendly. It's
Taking
a bit
it
desperate.
serious though. That's the annoying thing. Is they're taking VR serious.
The latest I've heard on Neko is Southampton, Burnley, and Barnsley and Swansea want to take him on loan. Now, I would not be totally against this because Fabinho can play at right back. We've got Gomez, obviously, he can play right back. But the one thing I don't want to see... What's that?
1-0. Gosens has scored.
Who?
Gosens.
Aye. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be totally against Nico Williams going on loan. Another player who suffered complete abuse. People have obviously seen my video on Nico Williams. So, Cardiff. I'll tell you something. I wouldn't be too against. Wouldn't he be too against Nico Williams going to Cardiff?
Hello, Paul and Nathan. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, I hope Nathan's feeling better. I saw he had a bit of a headache that kept him out of doing his stream. So hopefully he's doing okay. But yeah, I wouldn't be totally against Nico Williams going out on loan.
So onto your. I'm losing count. I'm trying to think of how much centre backs have you got. Right. Okay. I'm going to go off the top of my head. Ben Davis. He was a waste of money. He was just a waste of money.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him play for Liverpool once. What games did he play in?
No,
he was on the bench. He was on the bench against Leeds and then wasn't seen. But apparently he suffered a calf injury at the end of the season. I think they will give him a chance in pre-season, see what happens. But I don't see it. I don't see him being around.
What position does he play? Is he centre back or is he a full back?
He's a left-sided centre back.
Left-sided centre back. Okay.
What about Nat? This is a difficult one. A guy who literally would not have been talked about before the end of the season started. Nat Phillips. Listen,
yeah,
I'm going to be controversial here. Okay, I think he's obviously not going to be. If you've got Matip, Gomez, and Van Dijk fit, he's not going to start. All right. I think he's proven that he's probably better than he should be. He's probably better to be a fourth choice centre back at Liverpool. So if I was Liverpool, I would probably cash in on him because you'll probably get a decent amount of money for him. But again, but
for Nat Phillips, they're not going to get much for him.
20 million. He's
the one problem I have with if we do cash in on Phillips is we made a mistake on Divock Origi. We should have got rid of him at the end of that Champions League final. Sell him while he's on top because ever since then his form has completely dipped. So I don't want them to make a same mistake over Nat Phillips. In that if he has a bad season for next season, then his price will drop dramatically. So it's a tricky one with Nat Phillips. I think Nat Phillips was fantastic last season.
2-0 Germany. Gundogan's literally just scored 2 minutes after Gosens scored.
Makes it interesting for next Tuesday anyway.
My German shirt.
But what I will say on Nat Phillips, I think he was absolutely outstanding last season. I don't want him to go through this season and just have a bad spell. So I think if Ben Davis goes, I think Phillips stays as fourth choice centre back.
Reach out called the figure centre backs. Reece Williams, probably loan him, I would say.
Loan, yeah. Look, nothing against young Reece. I think he had a couple of good games last season. Looked quite nervy on the ball as well. So I would loan him out. I would definitely loan him out. Probably to a championship club. Apparently Sunderland were wanting him apparently as well. So that wouldn't be too bad a move actually.
Kill his career.
But yeah, I would loan Reece Williams out.
All right, then on to your three main choices: Joe Gomez, Joe Matip, and for Van Dijk. Start off with Van Dijk. Obviously, you're really buzzing to see this guy back. Hopefully, at the start of next season.
Keep. Matip. Well, if we do sell Matip, we're going to make a profit on him anyway because he was a free transfer. So, and then obviously you've got the new boy Kanate coming in as well. I'd probably sell Matip and keep the other two.
Okay, fair enough. On to left back Andy Robertson. I don't think self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think he'll be sticking around.
And then who was the backup? Tim Miskins, the Greece lad.
Shimikas. I think he'll get another season to prove himself. Again, we didn't really see him last season. I think what you'll see this season is I think Shimikas will probably play more, probably FA Cup, League Cup, maybe the Champions League, because Robertson can't play so many games a season. It's just not possible.
Until I hear his name being called out on television, or if I ever get to a Man United Liverpool game until then, I'm just going to refer to him as Shimaka. What's my puss name? Like that's his name. It's just like, what's his puss? Like we'll just stick with that.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much for
hi Caroline.
For joining. Make sure that you actually hit that like button because Josh is I'm new. I'm new to the scene. So next, I call this guy Mr. Reliable, James Milner. Also can play left back, right back. I'm basically anywhere within a middle three. Can play a pivot if worst case scenario. I take it.
He's also shit.
I take it you're keeping Milner just for the fact that he is just one hell of a professional.
James Milner left Manchester City to join Liverpool and won the Champions League. Enough said. Keep.
I genuinely think you should move him on. I honestly think you need to move him on.
I think he'll retire. I think he'll retire at Liverpool.
Stick him to Leeds. He'll be done within a season.
What about now? We all know when Thiago joined Liverpool, natural fans had an absolute laugh of Thiago, saying, "Oh, he's overrated. He's ruining Liverpool. He slows down the tempo, doesn't set the pass and play." But
just remember, until it ended up being shite, I said the whole with our first podcast that we did, I said it'd be a good signing for Liverpool, and he's proven me wrong. So thank you, Jesus.
But towards the end of the season, Doug, he had a good year. To be fair, didn't he? He played a big part in those games that you went unbeaten. So I take it maybe you were skeptical at the start about Thiago, but he's probably changed Liverpool's fans. But he just needed to adapt to a different system. 3-0 Germany by the looks of it.
Thomas Muller.
Thomas Muller.
I actually think Thiago, for as much as he's obviously injured a lot last season, but the games he did play, like those last 10 games, it was absolutely sensational. I thought he was very, very good. That game against Manchester United Old Trafford, I thought he was superb in that midfield. Really, really bossed McTominay and Fred in that midfield. So I think he has had a better end of the season. Start of the season, it took him time to get going, but I think with a settled back four next season, I think he will be one to watch for sure next season.
Okay, good keeper sell question. Since Nathan has kind of popped in, what are you doing about Harry Wilson?
Ooh.
Listen, I think if Nathan was here in this podcast, he would probably be on his hands and he's begging Liverpool to sell him back to Cardiff. But what would you do about him?
I think Harry Wilson has no future at Liverpool, unfortunately. It's as simple as that. I think he'll be sold. We can't keep loaning him out to clubs. He's had so many loan deals. Derby County, Cardiff City.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So I think Harry Wilson will definitely be on his way. Apparently, Liverpool are thinking of maybe including him in the Rafinha deal because apparently Marcelo Bielsa is a fan of Harry Wilson. So there you go.
It would pay me to see Rafinha go to Liverpool.
Back to the midfield. Fabinho, who obviously played right back, centre back, and holding midfield last season.
Keep. I think he's talking about a new contract already as well. Outstanding last season. Probably, apart from Mo Salah's goals, for all his all-round versatility, Fabinho was my player of the year. I thought he was absolutely fantastic last season.
Naby Keita, gotta go.
Got to go. Yeah, he's had 3 seasons, and all he's done is spend it in a hospital bed. Gone, bye.
so straight. Curtis Jones.
Loan him.
No, I think next season you'll see Curtis Jones potentially starting more games than he did this season.
The good thing for him though, realistically, is the fact that true. The one good thing for him going is that Wijnaldum's literally just buggered off of all teams PSG. So
I can't believe that. I actually cannot believe that. But then
Ronald Koeman is literally on his knees crying as we speak.
It's
beautiful.
Do you think?
Put it this way, it's nice to see Barcelona get bamboozled by somebody to a player.
Do you think Wijnaldum's showing simply for the money?
Yes.
Any other way
it'll be his last payday, Josh. It'll be his last payday. So it doesn't surprise me.
The funny thing is though, is he still realistically. The funny thing is though, realistically, he still gets into that Pochettino midfield. Like he gets in because of his energy. Like I think he'll complement Verratti very well. I don't know about Idrissa Gueye. I don't know about Xavi Simons. He might block him. He's a fantastic young player coming through for PSG. But Ander Herrera's an interesting one. Will Pochettino keep him? Maybe he's sort of similar to like Sissoko. Well, he's better than Sissoko, but they're like sort of similar players. But I think Wijnaldum's that extra quality where
anyone's better than Moussa Sissoko, mate.
Yeah, even a dead hand is better than Sissoko, but
have I missed anyone in the midfield, or is that? I think that's Henderson. That's it, Jordan Henderson. That's the other one.
After that penalty, after that penalty, he should be on the bloody release list. I want Liverpool to get weaker, so keep him.
The funny thing is, Jordan Henderson actually is now more a successful captain than Steven Gerrard. It just says it all, really. Yeah, I think
it's so funny.
I think Jordan Henderson will definitely stay at Liverpool.
I will say this though, he's only still at Liverpool not because he's a good player, because he's not. It's just because of that leadership quality.
Brendan Rodgers nearly sold him to Fulham in 2014.
Could you imagine? Oh yes, thank you, Shane O'Donnell. Chamberlain, that's the other one. I knew there was someone in the back of my head.
Oh, I love the Ox. I think he's been a great player. It's just injuries have let him go aside, but I believe Klopp wants him to stay. So in that aspect, I think he will be staying. But if it was for me, I would sell him.
Sorry, 2 times.
The funny thing is though, he's a bigger Liverpool legend than he is an Arsenal legend. That's the funny thing.
Mm-hmm. Won the Premier League and won the Champions League.
And Arsenal fans think he's a club legend, but where's the evidence?
I'm not 1,000% sure, but we may have Nathan joining us in about 10 minutes time. So it's literally I'm literally going to name this the World of Football Podcast. Melody.
so basically, the co-host is only finding out right now. Like, where's my consultation?
It's in the chat.
I've got you on full screen, lads. Like, I'm giving you my time. I'm giving you my full screen support.
Okay. On to
bring him on. Got to.
Starting off with the Belgium Divock Origi. How are you doing?
Well, he will always be remembered for his Champions League goals against Barcelona and then the final goal against Tottenham. But for me, we should have sold him right at the end of that Champions League final. Just sell him while he's on top, because
did you send from Wolfsburg, or am I wrong?
Yeah, Wolfsburg. No.
So Divock Origi's going. What about Mane after last season? Do you have any issues that Mane's slipping? Was it an off season? You have no concerns now.
No concerns whatsoever. I think the media run a bit of a media witch hunt against Sadio Mane, and they're
Here's a
trying
genuine
to.
question for you. Which one would you keep and which one would you sell? Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah? If you genuinely had to choose for the benefit of your club, which to be fair, they at times last season, even though he was scoring goals, Salah did drop a lot of bad performances last season. It wasn't until the second half when you saw him particularly kicking up. Sadio Mane is a player I think is fantastic, but last year, like that whole season, it was not good to watch at all. Like he's an entertaining player, but last season it was like watching Marouane Chamakh. Like that's how bad it was.
I'll be honest with you here that Salah is probably the most marketable out of him and Firmino. So I would probably say Salah because I think Salah would probably want to play in Spain in the next couple of years. I think
you would sell Salah, keep Sadio Mane.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Fair answer that.
So that's that. So she covered Diego Jota.
Oh, keep 14 goals and 9 assists last season. Great first season for him.
Shaqiri.
Keep.
I love Shaq, but unfortunately, he is just not good enough for Liverpool Football Club. Thank you for sacking Jose Mourinho. That was a very, very good moment, and thank you very much for scoring against the Ev to sack Marco Silva. Yeah, Xherdan Shaqiri, the only Liverpool player to sack 2 managers in the same season, Marco Silva and Jose Mourinho. There you go. There's a wee stat for you. But Shaqiri, I think he's going to go. I think, look, thank you for what you've done. I think you've been a very good signing, but I think Shaqiri is away.
And then the final one is Roberto Firmino.
Keep.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we actually do have the World of Football Podcast melody team.
Here we go.
Right.
Go.
Now, since this is our show, now you can flip me and Doug round now.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
now we can do it.
How are you,
well,
Nathan?
Yeah, but very well, thank you. Sorry if I sound a bit rough, but we push through it.
Nathan's that dedicated. He's missing the World of Football Podcast, and he has to be here.
He's got to do something on Monday night, guys.
He's missing me too much. Well, since we're flying for the keep sound loan, we will talk a bit about Cardiff and Wales after we finish Chelsea. Doug, one final question. I'm going to ask you a very, very difficult question. All right, you ready for this? So, who are you, if you had to pick, if it was a life and death must choose situation, are you playing with Adrian all season or no Van Dijk all season?
No Van Dijk.
Wow.
Well, you already saw what happened against Aston Villa, so I think you'd be better off choosing Adrian in goal.
Adrian gives me butterflies whenever he plays in goal for us. So yeah, the logical answer would be definitely.
Hell, we just can't stay apart, you know. Like I see us on a Monday night. It's just like we all come together, you know. It's a community. You know, obviously we're obviously on a different channel. But I'll get we're all here. So that's Liverpool. So we're going to move on to Chelsea, and I look forward.
For your benefit, guys, we will skip Chelsea because they're a shit club anyway, and we'd rather go into Cardiff.
Right. So Reece, you're the co-host. So I'll let you ask me about each Chelsea player if you even know who we.
To a degree, yeah, that's fine. So we'll start with your goalkeepers. So we'll go for the obvious one first, Edouard Mendy.
I'll keep Mendy. I think Mendy's done a very good job since he came in. Obviously, when we signed him, unproven. No one was too sure if he would do good.
He was proven in the French league for Ron, though. Really good player, underrated. One of the best players in the French league.
Petr Cech is literally the only reason why I signed this guy. So hats off to Petr Cech, doing a great job in the backroom stuff. He's been incredible since he joined.
It's fine. I'm just getting your full squad up so I can go through it.
Can I just pick up something you said on my video the other day?
The African goalkeeper, yes.
Yeah. Bruce Grobbelaar was the first goalkeeper from Africa to win the European Cup / Champions League. So you got that one a little bit wrong, I'm afraid.
I just did a divine job because I seen you rant about it on Twitter, so I just thought I'd just divine job on doing it.
To be fair though, like you can also blame UEFA because UEFA recognised Mendy as the first African goalkeeper to win the Champions League.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But no,
When did Grobbelaar win the champ? Was he part of the 05 team?
1982.
82.
Yeah, but that was when it was called the European Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See,
But
So
they
82.
should
That
roll
would
over
have been
history.
interesting.
It was
then.
against. Who was it against?
82. That wasn't Liverpool because Liverpool were the year before against Real Madrid. So
Was that Villa?
82.
Probably
Was that?
80. Was
that
either
not-
83 or 84?
Well, 84 was Liverpool against Roma. In
Yeah, it
Rome.
was 84 because Grobbelaar with the spaghetti legs. That's what Jersey Dudek did against
Yeah,
AC
84.
Milan in 2005.
what? But as I said, doesn't matter.
I'm checking that because that's if he is the case, then that's no. Sorry, yeah, 1981. He was in both teams.
There
You
you
just
go
didn't-
then.
Wow.
Yeah, very
There-
interesting.
The really interesting thing about Mendy is that when we literally bought Mendy in because Kappa was that shit. There's no other way of me putting it. That's why Mendy was bought.
Yeah,
And
we're
the original plan at first when Mendy was bought was that there was obviously massive talk about Donnarumma leaving AC Milan for a free, which is obviously ended up being the case. So the idea was to bring Mendy in. He'll be the first choice. Kappa will be sold the following season, and then Donnarumma will be brought in. Mendy dropped to the bench. But I don't think anyone here could disagree that Mendy has came into it 4-0. Mendy's obviously
Havertz.
oh, great. That's good. I'm sure Chelsea fans will be raving.
Who are you playing? Is it Latvia?
Latvia.
Oh, poor Zani.
So,
Sorry. Just to say, my friend Zani, who I've had on my channel, lovely person. She's from Latvia, so she will not be.
I
enjoying
have,
the game.
as a Germany fan, with all due respect, I've got no sympathy for you.
but no, I've got no issue. Mendy made some. I remember at Stamford Bridge against Leicester, and that must have went for top 4. He made an incredible save at the death to keep it to stop Leicester getting any. Actually, I think Leicester actually would have got Jordan because I think Perez scored later on that made it a nervy affair. The guy's been incredible. He kept us in some Champions League games. Kamada at the back, big reason why our back three got really good. So Mendy is absolutely going nowhere.
Yeah. So let's see. So as a co-host, I've got the privilege of the next one. We're going to go for a goalkeeper. I think we all predominantly could agree on Willie Caballero.
I would have kept Caballero.
I think he's gone, isn't he?
He's still listed here. I'm going through like the,
No,
the squad list, really.
Caballero is 1,000% leaving, but I would have kept him. I would have kept. I think listen, Caballero when he played for Chelsea, and he played quite a few games. He has. It wasn't like he just played a couple of games. He played in quite a few league games. The guy has always done well by Chelsea. He came in last season when we were fighting for the top 4 under Frank Lampard. He came in for Cabba. He was solid. He had some good performances. Made some really crucial saves. The guy's a great professional. He's literally our Romero, I think, but he was treated rightly by the club. Yes, he did drop down to third choice in January when Mendy was signed, but that's just. I think he accepted that and he didn't have any approval. He was a great presence in the dressing room. Good goalkeeper to bring in. He's more than welcome to go to Cardiff.
No.
They've reversed the decision. It's no longer a Havertz goal. It's been awarded as an Ozol's own goal. The goalkeeper has scored an own goal for Latvia.
Oh, wow.
And it's only 40 minutes in, so this is going to end 10-0.
Ouch.
Latvia are going to be murdered. Like, with all due respect. Right, so Caballero, decent keeper, but frankly, he would get moved on. He's just listed as a squad player still. Do I really want to have him mentioned on our podcast? We're going to skip Kepa because we already know.
Sell. Get rid of. Absolutely useless. Absolute custard hands. He's useless. Terminate his contract. Worst
You sure he's not the
goalkeeper in
Chelsea manager?
Shut up.
We're going to mention this goalkeeper I've never heard of, Carlos Zeiger.
Carlos Zeiger is the under 21 goalkeeper, but Jamie Cummings, who went on loan to. Oh, who did he go on loan? He went on loan to, I think, Crewe United. I think he went on loan to Crewe United.
Do you still have Jamal Blackman?
He's leaving.
Yeah,
He's going to Rotherham permanently, I think.
Yeah,
which
he's
is
leaving.
so funny.
He's leaving on at the end of
He
his
is,
contract.
he is so crap. So we're going to move on to your defenders because, frankly, Petr Cech, he doesn't really need to get mentioned. He was just brought out as a pity option. So we're going to start with your 3-4-3 as you do. So we'll do your centre backs first. So we're going to go for the best centre back you've got, Thiago Silva.
I'm so happy he's there for another year. This guy, this guy oozes class on a football pitch. He's besides the West Brom game, which we will never speak about on this podcast in a million years. He's the 2 games against West Brom. He played Howlers, yes, but after that, he's been flawless. He's the back 4 and the back 3 that he's played in. He's played really incredible. No matter who he's playing against, he's a leader. Incredible presence in the dressing room. Perfect managers, Thomas Tuchel after his PSG. Doug's getting himself comfortable.
Yep.
So yes, I'm so happy Mendy's there. I'm happy Silva's staying for another year, and I hope even we keep him for another year. Maybe he will spend one more season, maybe 2 more seasons at Chelsea, including next season, and then maybe goes to Brazil and retires there.
Yeah, that's fine. Good shout. To be honest, I did want him at Man United because we didn't get Upamecano, who I was praying for, but obviously we didn't get him. We didn't get Silva. We were stuck with shite instead. So moving on, we're going to go for a player, frankly, that shouldn't even be in the bloody German squad, but he had a very good end to the season, Rudiger.
Yeah, see, this is the funny thing. See, I see in the summer, he was linked to Roma quite a bit. Lampard completely left him out of the squad. I was calling for this man's head. I wanted him out of the football club so quickly, and oh my god, I have had so much humble pie.
It's 5-0.
5-0.
Gnabry's just scored.
I've had so much humble pie when he played under Thomas Tuchel on that back 3. There was these big talks when Tuchel came in, and he said that there was the 2 players that Tuchel really wanted PSG was only Rudiger and Jorginho. And see what I said, it's like, oh, we're going to have to watch Rudiger every single game, and oh my god, I've not been proven more wrong in my life. So
the only bad thing about Rudiger is him calling his baby trophy.
Oh. Yeah, who does that?
Rudiger was actually shouted into a camera of a Chelsea fan, shouting to the Chelsea fans, who wants to be gone now? Who wants to be gone now? Listen, the guy literally, he made a game tackling save against Phil Foden in that Champions League. He's been exceptional on every side. I've got no issues. I would keep Rudiger. It'd be interesting if Thomas Tuchel switches to a back 4. How will he do? But time will only tell.
That's true. I'm going to move on to your next central centre back, who bit of an interesting one. I reckon we'll get your opinion. Christensen.
Christensen's another one who I was a bit scared. He can't play. Christensen cannot play in a back 4. He's one of these defenders. You have these defenders that you go, they can play in a back 4, or they already can't. And Christensen can't play in a back 4. So it'd be interesting. Again, it all depends on Thomas Tuchel's system next year. There's talk we're going to play a 4-2-4, which would be very interesting which would be interesting in the Premier League. He's still young. He's still young. He technically did come for the academy. We have to be sent it from Gladbach, but he is known as an academy graduate of Chelsea. I would personally keep Christensen. I think off the bench, if we do play a back 4, is a very good option.
Leipzig did want him as well. Like at the time, that's no longer an option, but he was a good shout.
And when he came off the bench against. When he came off the bench for Thiago Silva in that Champions League final, I don't think you would have noticed the difference between Thiago Silva and Christensen playing that night. When he came in for Thiago Silva, he played out of his skin. So I've got no issues with him.
Aye, that's fine. I'm just going to get the next one, which is going to tear you apart. Let's have a look. Who will I discuss next? 'Cause that's predominantly your centre backs. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else who's in there?
Summer.
He's played there a few times, so I'll go Azpilicueta.
I see. Azpilicueta. I said this in one of my match previews. I think it was for the West Ham game. This guy can never, ever play as a right back in a back 4. He can't. He cannot. If I see him at right back, I'm not watching the football game. It's even when he played as a right wing back, it was painful to watch. But see as a right centre back, He uses class. Professional. He's obviously the captain of Chelsea Football Club. He's a legend of the football club. I will sorely miss him and be emotional the day that he leaves, which he actually could be leave at the end of the season. His contract is up at the end of the season. So I would keep him, but I hate to say it, but I do think from next season onwards, regardless of the system, he should be a bench player.
Reece,
That's fine. Yeah, mate.
Dundee United have appointed head of recruitment Thomas Kurtz as the club's new head coach.
Wow.
I've never heard of him. That's a brave, bold move.
They're fucked. They're getting relegated. 100% getting relegated. Telling you now. Look him up, honestly.
He will take charge of the club's game against Kelty Hearts on the 9th of July. Oh, that's my birthday.
Look up his last job.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to tell you. Look up his last job. Dundee United are getting relegated. So are Celtic with their new manager as well, so it's even better.
Yeah, I just saw the date, July the 9th. I was like, oh, that's my birthday.
Magic. So we're going to move on to your fullbacks now, Josh. And frankly, there's only one guy that makes relatively sense at the minute. He stole my name, but we'll go with that anyway. First and middle name, he stole it. So Reece James.
I love this kid. This kid's got it all. He can play right centre back as he did a few times towards the end of the season. He as a right back, incredible. He defensively, he's really, really sound. Offensively, he does need to improve a tiny wee bit. I think his crosses into the box needs to be better. His final third decisions need to be better. But for a guy who was on loan at Wigan the season before to come into the Chelsea team and be one of Chelsea's best players. That takes some bloody skill to step in and just seamlessly have adapted to the pressure of Chelsea Football Club. So he's again academy graduate. Frank Lampard, thank you so much for bringing him into the club. And I honestly he's going to win. I'm going to just trigger Doug. He's going to be better than Trent Alexander-Arnold.
To be fair, it's not hard to argue that. I agree as well. To be honest,
I agree
because he's more complete than Alexander-Arnold. To be honest,
I fully stand on that.
And that's not to wind you up, mate. I just generally believe he's more of a complete defender. I think you just see it as well. But Alexander-Arnold, he offers a little bit more attacking wise in positions that you really would want from a fullback. But Reece James has shown that going forward he is competent. So if he just needs
solid at the back as well.
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair, Reece James was fantastic in that Champions League final. Kept, I think Raheem Sterling still has to come out of his pocket.
I think he asked Wan-Bissaka for advice. There's one to the City fans. Oh wait, we don't have any in our live chat because they're all busy being recycled. On to the next one. To be honest, he's a little bit underrated because I've watched him a few times and I think he's got a good potential. Valentino Livramento.
This is someone who's probably now the highest rated player within the academy. We do need to extend his contract. We could be facing another Tarek Lamptey situation with him, where he could be leaving on a free. And I think he could be a Lamptey. I think he could go to a championship club, to maybe a bottom half Premier League club, and fit in seamlessly. This kid has it. This kid really, really does have it. I think he could seemingly be the backup.
I watched him a few times at academy games, at the Man United Chelsea academy games, and he's lived up to his name. Like he's actually a decent. He's a decent. And a lot of people think he's Italian because his name is English. So he's got good strength there.
He would be my backup to Reece James next season over Azpilicueta. And Thomas Tuchel does rate him. He has had him on the bench 3 times, I think, when we had a few.
That's right. Yeah,
he was,
3 times. Yeah,
he was the academy player pick to be on the bench. So that says all. I hope we should see a good bit of him in pre-season, given Reece James will probably be back late due to the Euros.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see what this guy does. I would like to personally loan him if we could. But if you had a choice
of club, where do you think would suit him most?
Sheffield United. I think as a wing back, I think he could do a really, really good job at wing back.
So not Cardiff, where he would actually play for a decent attacking team. You'd rather send him to a dead club. Okay, we get that.
Hello, Jack. Hope we're having a good, lovely night. We're having we're in the midst of our discussions.
He'll be pleased with who he got in the sweepstake.
Yeah, you rigged mine.
It wasn't rigged. It was not rigged.
I got Holland in another sweepstake, and I get Holland for you. It's clearly rigged against me.
It wasn't rigged.
Like people are stopping me from getting the Germans. Like, how abusive can it get? Nathan, back me up. Is it rigged?
Nathan and Paul actually got some good ones. They got
really?
Nathan got Belgium.
See?
And Paul got Italy.
So I don't even get the Germans, but he gets Roberto
Belgium
Martinez's
is good.
bitch cousins.
Rip.
Yeah, but
You know what the worst thing is Shane O'Donnell's in the chat, and that bastard, he got Germany.
He got Germany. He got two bad ones though in North Macedonia.
Big, beautiful bastard.
I'm bloody buzzing. I'm the new Man City. I got the equivalent of getting England Reece Sweden. Shot it all the way.
Moving on to your three left wing backs, because you've got three of them. One of them I rate, the other's shite, and the other's English. So we're going to start with the one I actually rate, Emerson.
He's gone for Fabrizio Romano. Is it Emerson was a weird signing? I don't understand the full logic. I understand
That's an understatement. Emerson was a weird signing. So was David Zappacosta.
Zappacosta.
You know what the funny thing is, though, is Zappacosta would have worked in Tuchel's system.
Zappacosta, man. Zappacosta.
So was Victor Moses, but...
Victor Moses was actually good. He won a league with us at least. Sabra-Costa and Emerson were the two weirder signings we've ever made. Sabra-Costa, yeah, the quicker he's out of the door, the better. I mean, the guy looks like a guy who lives on the back end of a cafe stand with a rock that he just.
The funny thing is, though, and you can't when you actually watch him going forward, he is actually very good going forward. He has shown that. Maybe he's a bit suspect defending, which, to be fair, I'm not going to disagree on that. So if he's a starting right back, starting left back for Italy at the Euros, then I fear for the Italians. But attacking wise, he is actually impressive. But there's slight deficiencies in his game. But I rate him as a player, and the fact that he's 25 as well, like he's not hit his prime where he can improve. But to be fair, who would you rather have though? Would you rather have Emerson or would you rather have Ben Chilwell?
I would rather have Chilwell and Emerson and get rid of Marcus Alonso because
you heard it here first, folks. He said he would keep Chilwell.
I would. Chilwell had a good end of the season for us. Like, there's no doubt that Chilwell, in that Champions League final, played really, really well. At the start of the season he played well. Middle of the season, shit, and then towards the end of the season he played really, really well. So. I'll give
Chilwell is the equivalent of sitting on the throne and taking a shit. Like that's what he is.
Chilwell deserves another season. He's done enough. He's done enough for me to deserve another season. I would keep Emerson as a backup to Chilwell because he can also play left centre back, which he did do 3 times under Thomas Tuchel. Marcus Alonso, get out! That's the guy's the most useless football player unless he's in the box. He's useless. He can't run. He can't cross. He can't defend. He can't even move the ball quickly. And watching him try and play in a tiki-taka system, it's utterly painful on the eye. So yeah, the quicker Alonso's out of the club, the better.
So there we go, guys. We've done the 3 left backs without even having to ask them about the other 2. We've just flung in. We're going to move on to midfielders, where frankly, in my opinion, that's their Chelsea's strength is definitely for me midfield. So we're going to start with Hakim Ziyech.
Oh, Ziyech's a difficult one. I think Ziyech has been a flop this season. I hate to say it. He hasn't lived up to the expectations. You look at his Ajax performances.
Nathan's like you've wow.
Yeah, my dad's cricking on Alonso. Chilwell has grown on me back, and this year shot over him for me. England all the way. But I think Reece. I'm just gonna keep talking before Reece decides to have a go at Jack for that specific comment at the end. Ziyech has the potential, but I don't think this system. I think the 3-4-2-1 system will not suit Hakim Ziyech. It's a system that Ziyech cannot physically fit into.
I think it does really. I think it does if you play him as not as a winger, but you play him as a right-sided attacking midfielder.
Well, that's what we play. We play with 2 10s instead of 2 wingers. But Ziyech
you use him as a winger, though. That's the problem. Like when you played that, you used him as a winger, which I don't think he's good enough as a winger.
Ziyech can only play as a lone number 10, like a 4-2-3-1 system. He can't play in a 2-10, he can only play in a 1. I think he's unfortunate with the system, but he has had some good performances. He has had some crucial goals. I'll keep him as depth, but he definitely is not a starter.
Fair enough. Nathan, you didn't seem too impressed, so I'll let you counter that point.
I just think he's completely underrated. Seen him at Ajax, seen him at times at Chelsea. I think he could be one of your absolute key players. You just got to have faith in him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Doug,
Keep
you want to
playing him
add
in
to
the right
that?
positions and yeah.
Doug, you want to add to that before we move on to the next
No.
midfielder who frankly needs to be sold?
Ziyech, yeah, he's a funny one. Apparently Juventus are wanting him. I actually think Ziyech will be out the door. I think he'll be gone.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Moving on to who I personally believe Chelsea should sell, Jorginho. But for yourself, Josh.
Jorginho, see this Jorginho is a very interesting one. It's a difficult one because it all depends on the system of Jorginho. It also depends if don't have a clue. So someone's mic's going a bit.
No idea what it is.
Oh dear.
Keep going.
Declan, see, there is talk that we might potentially go for Declan Rice. So if we go for Declan Rice,
not for 90 million, you won't.
No chance.
Oh, it's a difficult one with Jorginho. I like Jorginho, but I don't know if he is the long-term answer to us. You know, because Mateo Kovacic and Kante are probably better than Jorginho. So I think as for now, I would keep Jorginho, but I would be happy to sell Jorginho if the right offer came in and have Billy Gilmore as the backup to him, as the backup to the other midfielders.
Just some transfer news. Roman Peru, I think that's how you pronounce it. Looks like he's on his way to Southampton. Deal agreed, €10 million. It looks like to be a replacement for Ryan Bertrand.
That's a good sign in that.
Solid.
Yeah,
that is solid. Next one, and I've said on numerous times, I believe he's Chelsea's best central midfielder, and I'm not changing my opinion on it. Mateo Kovacic.
I love the man. If this guy could score goals, he would be up there with one of the best midfielders in the world. If he had an end product in terms of his goals and assists, this guy would be probably one of the best midfielders in the world. Mm-hmm. Sadly, he's just not gifted with such a presence. But no, he stays without a shadow of a doubt.
Fair enough. Mason Mount.
Mason Mount, literally every single person. Big YouTubers that Mason Mount's overrated. He's not as good. He's Frank Lampard and Gareth Southgate's fanboy.
Hello, who put him in his team of the year? Thank you,
Doug. I was gonna come to you. Don't worry.
But hang on though. Before you get to the team of the season, what was the very first outcome of our podcast? I think it was me, you, and Nathan all agreed we mugged the bitch off. We were mugging him off every week. I
thought he had a great season.
He did have a great season.
And I think
the sad part.
Brilliant.
I think if you look at the actual PFA team of the year, Kevin De Bruyne should not be anywhere near that team of the year. Should be Mason Mount.
Germany's substitution, second half. Werner's come on, Havertz has come off.
Interesting.
So Werner's going to bag a hat trick.
Listen, Mason Mount. Listen, for anyone who said he's a Frank Lampard boy, and a teacher's pet. That's what I say to you. Listen, he has been an incredible player. You know, Thomas Tuchel loves the guy. Lampard did an incredible job with him. Sarri, it was thought that Sarri would have brought Mason Mount to the team if Sarri stayed in charge. Absolutely zero complaints about Mason Mount. Are probably our young player of the year. This kid is only going to get better and better, and I can say he will be a key player at the Euros for England.
I agree. Definitely getting pain from those headphones, aren't you? I get the exact same bloody thing. It's annoying. Next one. So that was Mason Mount. So Captain America, or as we all refer to him as, Christian pull his hamstrings.
Pulisic is an interesting one. There is quite a bit of talk.
You said that about all of your players.
No, but it's different because he might be leaving Chelsea. He is one of the more. If you were to get the bookie odds up, he's probably the highest Chelsea player to leave the club this season. It's weird because I think he should have played more this season, and it's weird. He doesn't suit the. He definitely doesn't suit the. He's not a number 10, or is he a striker? He's a left winger. We haven't played with a left winger since Thomas Tuchel came in, so he suffered because there was a time he against Leeds he played as the right wing back, which was an utter disaster. It was a pure disaster. I don't know. It all depends on the system. If we stick with the 3-4-2-1, I would sell Pulisic, which I know people are going to be very surprised about, but he just doesn't suit. He doesn't suit the system. It's simple. He doesn't suit the system, and I don't want to waste Pulisic's incredible career that he has. Like, he played really well last night for America against Mexico in the Nations League final, whatever the hell that is. But he played out of
the Gold Cup.
No, the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So it was something different to the Gold Cup. But he played really well. If we are going to play with a left winger next season, you keep this man, you start him every single big game. It's just a matter of the system, unfortunately. He's just one of these people who have suffered due to a system change, and that's just. He's
a good player. He's a good player as well. It's just these injury problems is a concern, but he's got like the pace to be a killer threat if you play the right system that suits him. To be fair, you probably could get away with using him as a in a way in the middle. You could technically get away with it because you could hold on the ball really well, and he's got the pace to get in behind. But no, you're right though. Like I agree. Next one, we're going to move on to the man that should have scored yesterday against Luxembourg, Billy Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore, this kid's got it. He can play as a holding midfielder. He can play as a bit more of a box-to-box midfielder. He can play as a deep line playmaker.
He can do everything.
He's an all-rounded midfielder. He's someone who can play anywhere within the front three. Just saying, Doug, he had Fabinho running around strengthening him in the FA Cup that season under Frank Lampard.
Yeah, he was outstanding in that game. I won't give any qualms. More transfer news. Apparently, Roma are closing in on the signing of Arsenal captain Granit Xhaka.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. There's another bit of interesting news that just came out. If Kieran Trippier leaves Atletico Madrid for Manchester United, guess who the number one right back target is for Atletico? I'll give you a guess before I make you all piss yourselves laughing.
I don't know.
Have a guess.
Sure, the Tavernier.
No, it's a right back in the Premier League.
Is it Lamptey?
Nope.
All right.
It's going to be worse.
Think about the right backs we've mugged off all year long. I'll give you a hint. Oh,
Bellerin? No.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, no.
There is reports coming out that Bellerin is the target to replace Kieran Trippier.
No.
Now, I respect Diego Simeone as a man, a manager, and to a degree, but if you sign Bellerin, your career as a manager should officially be terminated.
I think you've just give Jack stitches there. I'm
not joking. I've literally just seen a few things there, and I'm like, how the fuck can that be? How can this be? It's serious. But yeah. So Gilmore, I personally believe, like watching him from like the Rangers Academy, you should, to be honest, I was a bit gutted that we lost him, but 500 grand for a young player at the time, you're not really going to say no to that. Box to box for me. Box to box for me personally is his best position. Box to box midfielder, that's where he's most effective. He's a good ball carrier. He can pass the ball really well. He's also shown yesterday at international level briefly. He's got a very good eye for goal. He should have had 2 goals yesterday from the same position outside the left hand side of the box.
That's why I think he should start against Czech Republic if he's fit.
I agree. Tuesday will be a blast. Euro updates coming in. 50th minute. It's 6-0. Guess who's just scored for Germany?
Werner.
Timo Werner.
My boy is scoring. The fact that he plays for Chelsea is disgusting. Right, moving on. Next player, who I personally believe is going to be your best player next season, Kai Havertz.
Yeah, I think Kai Havertz has been a bit unfortunate.
He's put himself into Chelsea folklore, let's put it that way.
Yes.
I think Kai Havertz has been a bit unfortunate. I don't think Lampard did not know his best position, and I think I think Tuchel's still making a decision.
Look, I'm gonna defend Kai Havertz here, right?
I will not banter him. Him and Werner, I will not banter them.
I think the price tag that he actually came has affected them a lot. I would say.
Yeah. Too much pressure.
Yeah, not like 90. What was it? 90 million pounds. Like that is. Look, that was good money for Bayer Leverkusen at the time because I think they were very, very good. They had a very good team then, but Kai Havertz has came in. He has had time. He has had COVID as well, but he has struggled this season. But the one thing that Chelsea fans will remember him for is that Champions League winner against Manchester City has won them their second Champions League. So
whether it was an open goal or not, it was the movement that got past Ederson with ease.
Yeah.
But he was smart signing. It was near to. It'll come up to about 90 million. I think the main fee's about 80.
He's one to watch at the Euros for me.
Havertz and Werner are going to have a fantastic Euros. Like watch them. Like you'll see as well. Like, interchange. Like the Germany front line now is going to be scary. And I've refused to banter Werner or Havertz all season because I watch German football and I'm a fan of the German team as well. And I rate those two highly. I think they're going to have a great Euros. And then next year, they're going to be lethal for Chelsea, which makes me sick. Because I want to go for Man United.
I'd be interested to see what Havertz plays next year. Will he be seen as the attacking midfielder? Will he be the false nine? Will he be our main focal point up front? I think he probably just needs a preseason. I think he just needs to learn the league a wee bit more. But I think as the season went on, especially under Tuchel, he looks like he's learning and improving, and he is still extremely young. He's got the skills for the age that he has. As I said, I do think the price tags obviously play a big point in football. But listen, as in the words of Kai Havertz, I don't fucking care. I just won the Champions League.
I personally believe next season, like Havertz and Mason Mount are going to be your 2 10s behind Werner.
It is entirely possible. I just said we don't know what the formation is going to be next year.
I don't think he'll change system. I think that system's proven, and I think Tuchel will add to it. He'll add to it by bringing in more exciting attacking players, more creative players to the system. I genuinely think even though you'll be playing a 3-4-2-1, which is a system the German national team play at the Euros, and it's going to be very effective for them. You can play free at the back and be an attacking team. People think a free at the back team means you're automatically defensive. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's how you coach your team. I think Tuchel will make you more attacking next year. Much more attacking than what you already are.
I can't disagree with that, but I think Kai Havertz will be a regular starter next year. Obviously, he was been in and out of the team. I will give Thomas Tuchel credit. I think he handled Kai Havertz in the right way.
Yes.
He kind of didn't just say, right, you're our main player, you have to perform well. He kind of just said, right, you play here, then, and play as well as you can. And in the Champions League, it proves that that's probably the right way to handle him.
Josh, I've got a question for you. Olivier Giroud, are you surprised he signed a new contract? Because he said on here, Chelsea reactivated the clause to extend my contract in April. Moving to AC Milan, I like Van Basten and Shevchenko. AC Milan are a big club and one of the greatest in Europe, but now I'm focused on the Euros.
Oh, he's killed me then.
I
do my favourite Milan players as well.
I said to Reece on Twitter that I was massively shocked with Giroud's contract extension. I think it is simply for one plain and utter simple reason, and that's Chelsea don't lose him on a free. I'm still absolutely confident he will join AC Milan.
It annoys me that Milan are not getting a player like Giroud on a free, because I honestly would have had him over Mandzukic.
Chelsea, people can say about what they want about Chelsea all they want, but Chelsea are extremely smart in terms of their transfers and how much they sell players for.
What is this sponsor?
You were also quiet as well. That's the scary thing. You've done it silently.
So I think Giroud's contract is being extended simply for PR reasons.
That's Norwich's new sponsor.
Or BM8.
BK8.
Oh, BK.
That's the position they're going to finish in the Championship when they eventually get relegated next year after selling Buendia.
BK8 is one of Asia's
bottom of the league.
BK8 is one of Asia's biggest and most trusted online gaming brand that have attracted millions of players to join and play.
So basically, online gaming. I do online gaming. I've never heard of them.
I've never heard of that either.
There's a couple of midfielders here that are relatively young, but we're going to get to the main one at the end. I've saved him specifically for the end because he doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or, I'm just saying. But there's two players we're going to name here first for you. We're going to start with Faustino Agnoran.
Yes, he's another player very high rated in the academy. His goal threat has been known to be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably give him another loan though. He's not going to play in the first team squad, and he'll be wasting his time playing for the development squad next year. So he definitely should go on loan.
Okay. Lewis Bate.
Lewis Bate was rated highly. He's fell off. He hasn't lived up to his potential. He hasn't really played for the first team even in pre-season games. I would probably just sell him on.
Okay. And last one, when are you selling Kante to Man United?
Unfortunately for you, Kante will retire at Chelsea because he's about to get another. He's going to get another 3-year deal.
Unless Real Madrid end up losing Casemiro, then Kante will be their top choice. I honestly believe he will if Casemiro randomly left. But yeah, N'Golo Kante, go ahead.
Listen,
I'll say this is an interesting one.
Oh. This is weird. Kante, obviously, he's had an injury problems the last 2 seasons, which has been unfortunate for him. And he's had a lot talked about in terms of what is his best position, because obviously Sarri changed his positioning and his role, which a lot of people were confused about. But I think it made Kante a better player. He's better offensively now thanks to Sarri. I think it's hard because I think he can probably play as either the holding midfielder like Lampard did at the end of back of last season, or he can play in it too beside a Jorginho or a Kovacic. But listen, this guy, he's getting old. He can't play or run as much about like he used to, like in his last 3 days. But he is probably still the best holding midfielder in the world. He's probably the most consistent holding defensive midfielder in the world. And Chelsea are extremely, extremely lucky to have him.
Is it evident to you that the last time Chelsea actually won a trophy with Kante being the front four, the last time Chelsea actually won a trophy, he's played a back three system?
I think it's just
because obviously you won the Europa League, so that was a 4-3-3. But Kante, when he was actually most prominent, when Chelsea won something, it was when he played in a 3-4-3. He played in a 2 rather than playing in a 3-man midfield, which I don't think he likes it.
I think the back three system has came. Well, obviously Conte tried to play the 3-4-3. It went really badly, and Conte, took none of it and switched to the 3-4-3 in literally no time. I do agree. That probably he should play. He probably is better in a 2 than a 3. I do agree. I do absolutely agree with that. And if it is in a 3, I think the Sarri role where he plays a bit further forward probably suits him more than just sitting there in front of the back 4, which may seem a bit weird, but that's football works in mysterious ways. But Kante, incredible player.
That's fine.
And listen, I will say I don't think he should win that Ballon d'Or. I think Lewandowski deserves it, but
absolutely.
He's right to be in the mix, but I don't think he should win it.
And just so you know, guys, as we're sticking with blue, I will be asking Nathan the questions as well. I'm taking the precedence because I'm still asking. So you got 4 forwards. Particularly one, I honestly believe must go because I don't think he's actually worth anything
I've got a
to you.
feeling I know who this is as well.
Sam Abraham.
Yes.
No.
Really?
I think he should be moved on, but he's not the one I'm thinking of. But I'm going to start with who I believe is your best forward. With all due respect, like Timo Werner's one I personally adore, but I think the best player you've got for the forward position is Olivier Giroud. I think Werner needs a bit more time.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Olivier Giroud. Keep, loan or sell.
First of all, thank you Arsenal for giving us Olivier Giroud. Honestly, I will. Arsenal's transfer business within this was actually awful.
Emre Can's just come on. Gundogan is off, but so is Gosens. He's also come off, and Gunter has come on. So that's a double change It's a double change.
That's okay.
Never mind. Scrap that. Rudiger has also come off. Schuler has came on.
I'll keep my Giroud. Listen, Giroud has been phenomenal for us. See, back in the last season when we were transfer banned, he came in for Tammy Abraham. He came in under Antonio Conte. This guy has always stepped up. The overhead kick when we scored that a crucial away goal to Atletico Madrid, which was a game changing goal. He's obviously not a Chelsea legend, but he has a special place within the Chelsea hearts. He's played incredible when he's needed to. He's reliable. He's professional. Fair play to him for not getting his tight stalled twisted when he wasn't playing regularly and he was the third choice striker.
Yep.
Hats off to Giroud, and I hope he goes to AC Milan and I hope he has an incredible Euros.
Genuine question for you. I think we all here relatively respect Olivier Giroud. Like, he's a fantastic professional. He's a fantastic forward. He may not be a 20, 25 goal scorer or striker, but what he does do better than probably anybody else in this league, he scores important goals. So based on that, obviously there's one game that stands out for me in terms of I believe he should have played. Coincidentally, it was Lampard's first league game in charge at Chelsea. Was when you got humped 4-0 by Man United. Abraham had two, and I'm not going to rub it in here. I'm just going to be straight down the middle of what I'm asking here. We played that game. Tammy Abraham had two perfect chances where, frankly, he should have scored. Giroud playing that game against Man United, Giroud probably would have scored those chances. So, in terms of where you've got with Giroud, obviously you want him to do well. You think he's going to move on. Tammy Abraham, on the other hand, do you think he's got a Chelsea future, or do you think, for the love of Christ, he needs to go?
I think he's gone. Listen. Thomas Tuchel is an incredible coach. We can't. It's hard to go against Thomas Tuchel after the Champions League. Obviously, he did play him. He started him twice. He started against Southampton. He was subbed off at half time. And when this was in an empty stadium, he was shouting at Tammy Abraham a lot. He's excluded him from the squad. Even when he was the top goal scorer in the FA Cup, he was still excluded.
They bother, Doug. I just seen your message there, buddy.
Listen, Thomas Tuchel sees things that we don't see on the training pitch. There's clearly maybe an attitude problem or a lack of work effort, or he's not going to press as much, or he's not going to shuffle across as much, or whatever. If he isn't going to... Finishing wise, I think he's okay. I would keep him as the backup because we do have an issue with striker. Depth wise, definitely if Giroud's leaving, so I would keep Abraham for the depth reason for a squad player. But for the sake of him, yeah, I would sell him.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to go because I've got another podcast at 10:15.
No problem, Doug. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for joining the podcast, mate. Obviously, awesome. Nathan joined us, but obviously you were our first official guest on our podcast. So cheers for joining us this evening.
No problem. And I'll speak to you later, all right? Take care.
Yeah, have a good one.
Cheers, bye-bye.
So we saved two forwards for last because you've already covered Abraham. We covered Giroud. My personal favourite is the guy, frankly, that should be at Man United, and that's Werner. I'm saving him for last. But there's one forward at your club that I 100% do not rate, and his name is Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, yes.
I do not rate this guy with a barge pole. Keep, loan, or sell Hudson-Odoi.
Right, you see, this is where things have been interesting. Hudson-Odoi is massively rated by the Chelsea fan base. But one thing I will say is that under three managers, Maurizio Sarri, Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, they've all not played him. So there's obviously something with Hudson-Odoi on the training pitch that makes these managers not play him. So
you think he's got bad attitude?
There is talk that he does have bad attitude. He was throwing a fit when Sarri wasn't playing him. He was going to handle a transfer request. Chelsea gave in. I think give him 160k a week, something along those lines. I would keep him. I think he has the potential. I think he needs a run of games to prove himself. I think it's the fact I don't want to be harsh on him because he hasn't played enough regular games for me to turn around and say he should go. So I would keep him. Give him a run of games. Play him a lot in pre-season. Give him a lot of games in rotation and see how he does. But my words on Callum Hudson-Odoi is right. And Doug, do you think you should have? So I don't think we should have sold Hudson-Odoi to Bayern Munich. No. Yes, the money was fantastic for him for his age. But as I said, I think he has the potential. But we need to see how Callum Hudson-Odoi given a run of games. But as I said, there's three managers who have all done the same thing, so there's clearly something But I don't know.
That's all right. The reason I don't rate him particularly is I think when you've seen him play, I don't think he's applied enough on the pitch in terms of. I think he does have the talent in the world. I do
Thank you,
believe
Jack,
that.
for stopping by.
It's just I don't see enough. See you later, mate. I just don't see enough from him when he actually does play, and I think for me that's a concern. For a young player, he should be doing more. But could he do more? Perhaps. I think if he has to go to the Bundesliga to do it, then perhaps it's a good place to nurture young talent. So I'll wrap this up by asking you about Timo Werner.
Timo Werner has done everything
Ooh.
right. But Timo Werner has done everything right, but put the ball in the back of the net from an onside position. He does need to stop being offside. I think there's a bit of laziness in terms of how often he goes offside. So I would personally, obviously Werner is going to be here next season. I think he has an incredible future, and see if this guy does everything that he did last season, plus goals. Very little teams are going to be able to cope with him.
That's fine. So we're coming to the latter stage of flying the Welsh flag. We're coming to the stage now where I'm now going to take over. I think it's only fair that Josh, he got to ask me and he got to ask the two big fans of Man United and Liverpool. He asked us. Keep flying the flag, I like it. But I believe I'm getting the two blue boys. I think that's only fair. So we're going to start with Nathan, obviously, Cardiff squad. First of all, for ask you about who you want to keep, loan or sell. Your views on Cardiff season, briefly, and who you believe is going to have a big future under Mick McCarthy next season.
Almost had my mic muted then, but this season was a disappointment. As I've said many times across many podcasts and even on a championship video that has recently been recorded. I really thought that we could be challenging for promotion last year, considering the great signings we made, but reliance on Kiefer Moore, Harry Wilson, hot and cold, injuries all season, the lack of signing of centre-backs in particular, and centre-backs getting injured, including Sean Morrison, and also the sort of weakness in midfield that didn't work either. We have some strong players there, but it just didn't gel. We got to get the correct players in to move forward, and hope we got to be in a promotion push next year or a playoff push minimum.
I agree. And if you say, for example, obviously we do know that Vincent Tan, he wants to make Cardiff slightly better based on
absolutely.
He's not a great owner, but he's an owner that's going to be involved. He will want to spend, but I do believe the McCarthy budget's not going to be particularly big, so you may have to rely once again on loans and possibly the loans and possibly the free agent status. Who do you think is going to come in, and if so, do you think there's going to be a few signings? What do you think?
There's got to be signings, absolutely. I mean, we've already brought in James Collins, a great striker who Luton Town last year got a hatful of goals. Contract expires, brilliant on a free. Could get loads of great goals from there. Partner him up with Kiefer Moore, that could work really well. As for other players coming in, Nico Williams, I believe from what I've reading, he's one of the favourites to come to Cardiff. I would absolutely love that. Swansea, there's no way they can afford him, but likes of Cardiff, Barnsley, certain clubs around that, we can afford them. Vincent Tan, remember, backs the club, unlike certain owners from down there.
It's very true.
Other players that we got to get in as well, we have to get in a central attacking midfielder under any circumstances. Lee Tomlin, he's getting old. Yes, we have Ruben Cole coming through, but we need someone to cover him. It's not enough, absolutely. Yeah. And we need a centre-back, 100%. Because at the moment, we're playing all three in a back five. The only three good centre-backs, the only three centre-backs we have, Curtis Nelson, Aidan Flint, patchy as you know, Sean Morrison. If one of them gets injured, yikes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I do believe that I think it's risky that Mick McCarthy is playing all three only available centre-backs that you've actually got in a back three. I think that's incredibly naive by the manager. I believe you should be going with, if you've only got three centre-backs, you play a back four.
I agree.
Or if you're playing a back three, one of them's got to be a fullback because you can't afford to risk one of all three centre-backs at once. So I completely agree with you there. So now we're going to move on to positions, and I've actually got an even better website to actually look at. So I'm using Transfer Market this time, so I can actually go your position.
Reece, before you ask him there, a question for Doug. Shane Bamba has gone. Do you still have Kieran Brown?
Yes, Kieran Brown is still at the club. Actually, fourth centre back, but
Ooh, nice. They've
Yeah.
listed him as Soul Bamba on here, so I assume that's supposed to be. Assume that's him anyway. So we'll go for there. So
yeah, I was disgusted
interesting.
that they got rid of Bamba. Honestly,
Yeah,
they should
solid-
have given him a
solid
year
signing.
extension. He wanted to end his career. He wanted one last season in football, but as long as they give him a backroom staff job, I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree. He's only 36 as well, and in the championship, he's not going to play 42. He's not going to play 40 odd games, but he's going to
No,
be
he
in
isn't.
and around where he can be used, especially against Swansea.
Oh yeah.
So we're just going to run through it. So start with your goalkeepers. Funny, the good thing is you've only got 3, so I don't need to ask you like a billion goalkeeper questions.
Good.
We're going to go with Smithies first. I believe he's your number 1.
Keep, but move him to number 2. Phillips is so much better.
Good, because I actually was going to agree with you on
that
there.
leads it on to the next one. Yeah, Smithies is, well, look at the end of last season. Loads of mistakes. I still can't believe they dropped it. Well, they dropped Phillips after a great run for Smithies after Phillips made one mistake, and then look at some of the games that it cost us.
Yeah, that's true. Could have been a lot higher up in terms of the league if he
Oh,
hadn't
yeah.
dropped the ball. So obviously, Smithies, you're going to keep. You want him as a number 2. That's fine.
Yeah.
You want Phillips as your number 1.
Absolutely.
Which leads you on to your third choice goalkeeper, Mr. Joe Day.
He has just been released, so
He's just been even better.
Absolutely. There we go. That was quick.
Excellent. Moving on to defence. So they've listed it from centre backs down, so that's actually a lot easier. We're going to start with who I think is actually a relatively good centre back, Morrison.
Best centre back in the championship now than that. Well, Mark Gahey has left Swans, even though Morrison's better anyway. He's got to get in the Chelsea team.
Yeah.
Underrated centre back, even as a Cardiff fan saying that's unheard of. But Morrison, 100% keep. He's the best centre back in the championship, hands down.
Yeah. Nelson.
Keep. Squad depth. Good player, just needs someone supporting him.
We'll leave Bamba out because obviously he's gone, so we're going to leave him out altogether.
Yeah.
Flint.
Aiden Flint.
This is difficult, but I'm going to say keep because in a back 3 it works well at times. But we just need
Very
someone else
interesting.
there.
Very interesting. I'll be honest. I was going to say release him and bring in somebody from the Scottish League. I think you can do better nailing from there.
Could be a good shout.
I'm not too familiar with the young lad, but we'll see how he is. Brown.
Kyron Brown.
Yeah.
100% keep. He is something for the future. Play him at fullback. You can play him at centre back. Great defensively, great moving forwards. Underrated. Superb for Livingston as well, from what Doug said many times. He's going to be a Cardiff regular sooner or later.
Yeah.
And he was towards the end of last season as well. Pivotal in that Derby game.
Yeah, I've watched him a few times up here, but I didn't watch him in the championship, so I can't particularly comment on his championship performances. But up here, he was relatively solid. So the way Transfer Market have done it is they've listed your 2 left backs first, then your single right back. So I believe it's Joe Bennett, unless I've butchered his first name. But yeah, Bennett.
Bennett. I'm gutted. He got released. Honestly, I would have kept him. Such an underrated player. Premier League quality left back. Yes, he may have Leroy Sané in the FA Cup, but superb, great going forward, great on the ball, crossing in. He's always there when you need him. Defensively, pretty solid as well. Gutted he's gone. I don't know why they didn't renew, but he is out till October with an ACL injury. So
yes, Doug Game Brown's played very, very well for Northern Ireland. He'll be the Craig Calf Cup replacement going forward.
That is now official. It's now 6-1.
Wow.
Zavalevs has scored for Latvia, 75th minute, 6-1 Germany.
I thought Germany would keep a clean sheet there as well.
So did I. Bastards.
Disappointing.
Moving on to your next left back, young 19-year-old by the name of Bagan.
Joel Bagan, yes. Absolutely keep. Solid player. Yes, he did dislocate his shoulder during a game. Easing him back in gently only because he is so young and actually younger than me. But the composure on the ball, he defends so well. Going forward, he's amazing. Key passes,
7-1.
solid. That was quick.
Sané's literally just scored 35 seconds after Latvia scored.
Revenge.
So cute. Moving on to your single right back, who I'm not even going to use his surname. I'm just going to use his first name, Perry, because I'm
Perry
like,
NG.
what kind of a surname is that?
Keep. He is so underrated. How
And
has
he's
he
your
been
only
in
right
League
back.
One for so long? Yes, well, believe it or not, he only came in January.
Ouch.
Before that, we had Jordi Osei Tutu, who played like 12 games and then got injured. Sent him back to Arsenal in the end because he just kept getting injured in the reserves.
Absolutely. Moving on to your midfielders, Volks. This will be an interesting
100%
one.
keep.
Mm.
£10 million. Well, linked to some Premier League clubs for £10 million, including Norwich. Disaster move since they'll be in the Championship soon. Been linked. Well, even Burnley, I think he's been linked with. Quite a lot of clubs want him. Still a disgrace how he's not in the Euro squad yet. Ruben Colwill, a youngster who's only a few months ago made his senior debut, his professional debut, gets in the Wales squad over Will Volks. Crazy. Rate him as a player. Gotta keep him.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't watched Nathan's channel before, just put in the words "Volks isn't in the Wales squad" and you will get a reaction. This is not to wind up Nathan, but it's a general fact. You say Volks not picked, he goes nuts, and it's
I
beautiful.
think any Welshman does as well.
It's a shame, really, because he's a good player.
Mad.
It's a proper good player, and the fact that he's been overlooked on a regular basis, not just by Ryan. We're not even going to talk about him, Giggs, and this interim manager who, frankly, couldn't coach this. Yeah, he couldn't coach death. He's overlooked him as well, which makes no sense because Volks is 27. He's in his prime years, relatively solid. When I've watched him play at Cardiff, and
scores worldies.
He does, yeah.
Great playmaker, superb player.
He could be beneficial. I'm going to skip Bakuna because I know he isn't you guys permanently. I believe he's on loan from Huddersfield, so he's not a permanent signing.
Incorrect.
Is he permanent?
His twin brother plays for Huddersfield.
Even worse. I thought Huddersfield had. I thought it was like the one I was talking about played for Huddersfield. So I thought he was on loan from you guys.
No,
I didn't realize he had a twin brother. So that's
we have Leandro, who's the better brother. He's he plays well. They both play for Curacao, and he actually was man of the match, I believe, in the game as well. Scored a goal. Signed him during the Premier League season. January transfer window from Reading. Great for squad depth. Blows hot and cold, but I'd say I'd keep him.
Fair enough. I genuinely thought there was only one of them. I didn't realize there was twins, so I've literally just ended them both live on YouTube. I've just ended them both. Another 27-year-old midfield. That's pretty much your midfield. It's literally filled with 27-year-olds.
Yeah.
Joe Rolls.
Youngsters. Joe Rolls, club legend. It's actually his testimonial year this year, but obviously that probably won't go ahead. I can see it happen in a few years maybe, but he's been at the club for 10 years. Great servant, Premier League quality, you could say. Just Mick McCarthy needs to find a role that he works in. Keep. He's spending his whole career at Cardiff.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Pack. Told you just need to get Nathan right where you want him, and you've got him. And now I've got him.
This is so difficult. Solid player.
We've got him, guys.
Defensive. But out of the midfielders, he's the one to sell, I think. We need an Aaron Gunnarsson. We need an Aaron Gunnarsson quality central defensive warrior Viking there, like we did during the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to this will be an interesting one. Tom Sang.
As Reece says, who sang? He's a great youngster. Great. He was brilliant when he's playing out of position. He's so young, and I want to see what he looks like in midfield as well, how he adapts to that role, because he was shoved out of right back because of the lack of squad depth we have. But 100% keep. He's one for the future.
Fair shout. Williams.
Johnny Esther has been released. So sell.
Excellent. I assume he might be on loan, but I'm not sure. Colwell?
Ruben Colwell, no, he's from our academy. 100% keep. Got into the Euro squad.
Why the hell is Transfer Market giving him a star? Are they scared of him or something? But they've given him a star, so it must be either he's good or he's fuck knows what they think of him.
Well, essentially, he made his professional debut a couple of months back, and he's already in the Wales squad. He has been superb since he's been in. Sort of that central attacking midfielder. He reminds me a bit of Kai Havertz for some reason. The Welsh Kai Havertz. He has got a lot of developing to do, but he is quality for his age. He's got the height, he's got the skill, he's got the composure, he's got the ball playing technique. Superb. So
would you loan him, or would you keep him just in the squad? Obviously,
I can see him starting most games next season.
See him starting. That's fair. You've got 3 left wingers, so we're just going to do them all in a one. So it's Murphy, Hoylett, and Harris.
Hoylett's been released. Great serving for the club, but I think it's about the right time. I think he's going to go back to he's going to go play in the MLS anyway, probably to a Canadian team, because he is, well, now that Alphonso Davies exists and Jonathan David as well, he was the old poster boy for Canada and their national teams. He's still scoring hat-tricks last season as well for him. But great serving for the club, rightfully released, I'd say. End of contract. Was it Josh Murphy you said as well?
Josh Murphy and I think it's Michael Harris.
Mark Harris, yeah. Josh Murphy, 100 keep, but get a good price, sell.
What would you think is a... Aye, that's fine, Josh. What do you think is a reasonable price for him, roughly?
I believe we bought him for about 11 million. Could have been more, but I'd probably say about 8 or 9.
That's fair. And then there's about...
Oh, yeah, Harris. Harris, 100% keep, one for the future. Again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great backup striker as well. Scoring goals. On his senior debut, scored a goal. Brilliant.
Definitely. And we're moving on to White.
Loan. Actually,
loan him out.
He was on loan at Hull last season. I'd sell him.
Okay.
I'd sell him now. He's not good enough for him. And he doesn't fit.
I think I recognise this guy, Lee Tomlin.
Unfortunately, I'd sell. Aging, and ever since he's had that bad injury that he had back in October, November, he hasn't been himself. And he's getting older as well.
Absolutely. There's 3 players left. I'm going to save probably your favourite till last. They're all centre forwards, so I'm going to give you a bit more time with one forward in particular. So I'm going to give you right now Vassell and Waters.
Oh, Vassell sell. He's been injured for a year, well, nearly 2 years now. 100% sell. Waters needs to go out on loan. Still a youngster. He needs experience in the lower leagues, though. Great signing, but we got to make use of him in the future. Get him out on loan to League One.
Yeah.
And yeah, the final one.
Absolutely. And lastly, your main dude, Mr. Moore.
Keep.
Bond. James Bond.
Keep.
Just see, what about the guy who went to Mainz in January?
Robert Glatzel. If we can get good money for him, like similar with Josh Murphy, then I would 100% sell. The only reason is Mick McCarthy doesn't rate him. He blows hot and cold. Hard worker. Great on his day, but he doesn't fit into a not Neil Harris team. What am I on about? Oh, my word.
A McCarthy team.
He doesn't fit into a McCarthy team with Kiefer Moore and the pacier option, or someone like James Collins up front with him. Doesn't fit into the side. It's too slow otherwise.
So if based on what you've got for there's a fair few players obviously you would want to keep, you would want to sell, and obviously we've only mentioned 2 players that you want to go out on loan. Based on who you've got at the moment who are loanees, obviously the one you would want to keep is Harry Wilson. That's an obvious one. But absolutely. Is there anybody else in particular that you would actually think, even though they've been here on loan, maybe they've got a bit more to prove, you would want to keep?
I'll say Tutu has definitely more to prove, but he's got to sort out his injury issues. Harry Wilson, I don't know whether we're going to get him back. Probably not.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him in a Cardiff shirt once again, where I can actually see him live as well. And then as for other loans, I don't think we really made any others.
I don't think so. No, Shea Ojo, he should have been a player for you guys.
Yeah, he should have been good, but once again, he started off well, then felt inconsistent. Still has a lot to prove from Liverpool, but towards the end of the season, struggling with injury issues, like most of our squad this year.
I agree. So based on that, as you can see, we've all pretty much went in depth into our teams. There is a fair few. Obviously, there are obvious players we would want to keep. We're going to sell. We will be wrapping up the show very shortly. So I'm going to do a question for Nathan and Josh. And if they want to ask it to me, that's fine. Blank budget. Obviously, this can be like, it doesn't have to, if it could be an optimistic signing, it could be a realistic signing. You get one position, and I'm going to allocate a position to each, and I want you to give an honest answer. Who would you choose? So, Josh, I'm going to give you centre back, and Nathan, I'm going to give you central midfield.
Centre back. Right. I'll go first, Nathan. Fran, I think
great option.
For Fran, I think Fran would just make our already good backline probably an unstoppable backline, back three, back four, whatever way. Even him and Thiago Silva as a back four in a back two, or the back four in a back two would just be flipping. I don't know how you get past them. So yeah, Fran all day long for me.
That's fair. And for yourself, Nathan, central midfielder.
I'm going to go for actually two realistics. One is cheating a little bit. But Barry Bannon, absolutely in midfield, he would be superb in a Cardiff shirt. I can't believe he's in League One. And then the second one is currently a favourite. Well, he's currently a player who's 6-1 to join Cardiff. Third favourite, Gareth Bale.
To be fair, funnily enough, right, and I say this in the craziest way possible, it could happen. Like, the sad thing is I don't know how they're going to do it. They'll probably have to use some form of cheat sheet, but they certainly could. They certainly could. Bale's
been interested. He's already said in the past he wants to end his career at Cardiff as well. He's in interviews before, he's absolutely ruled out a move to Swansea, which is brilliant news, and absolutely roasted Joe Rodon in an interview, which is brilliant. But I wouldn't really say it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when with Bale coming to Cardiff.
I agree.
I'll end it on one more quick comment here. We spoke at the start of the show, Nathan, about Scotland's warm-up games. So Wales's warm-up games, I would say you're probably... Okay, fair enough, you played an unbelievable French team, and then you gone down to 10 men quite early on. Disgraceful decision by the referee, can I just say? Using VAR in a bloody friendly, but
and then again, when he looked at VAR, it wasn't even a booking or a penalty. It was literally ball to elbows, where you can't stick your hand anywhere or your arms anywhere. It's ridiculous, and I'm just glad that they overturned the red card.
Thank you very much, Ali. Yes, Monday nights we're back for sure. I'm sure me and Reece will come up with another incredible show for next week. Thank you very much.
I've already got a few. I've got a few ideas in mind that I genuinely think you might like, mate. I think what we should do is we pick a year like first, like if we're going to do I think next week we'll definitely do a 2-hour show. Like tonight we went over. Like frankly, we had to go over tonight because obviously this is a big show. Yeah. I think next week we start with a European night for Chelsea. And then after that, we do a European night for Man United, whatever era you want to choose. And I reckon that's what we do. Me versus you, and we'll do a little debate who has the better European night, and we'll open up to the live chat. What do you reckon?
I think I can't say I disagree with that. That sounds like absolutely. We'll speak about it on Twitter for the next coming days. So obviously the French friendly was, I think that was some friendly to have, right? I think maybe you probably did well for given you had 10 men. We
played so well before that red card as well, holding them off well, getting some chances in, but it's just losing that key player in midfield, and then France just overloading us that completely ruined us. But then, what on earth happened Saturday? Two shots on target the whole game.
That's what I was going to say.
Very physical friendly, but I was disappointed.
Liverpool and Istanbul. Don't give it to Nathan, obviously that'll be in your friendly was you played your second team if my mind is correct, but still in front of the home crowd you really should be beating Albania.
Oh, I know. And believe it or not, it was the first crowd at Cardiff City Stadium for 14 months, and I still didn't get tickets. Goes to show who the bigger club in Wales is, even though there was Cardiff and Swansea fans fighting in the stadium again. Nothing new. But yeah, I was honestly disappointed. Didn't offer anything going forwards. Tried to bring on the big guns in the end. Kiefer Moore, when he came on, was superb. Going to cause a selection headache. But we've got to sort this out before Switzerland on Saturday.
Are these friendlies made you any less?
Much less confident.
Yeah, has. So the opposite from Reece and Doug, when they feel more confident, and now Wales are. You've been playing like a 4-4-2, haven't you too? Which is.
Yeah, well, 5 at the back as well. Like, we played Ben Davis at centre back.
Joey Timber tried that. It did not go very well. But
no, it did not. Well, he was caught out a few times, let's just say.
But unfortunately, we are going to have to wrap it up because the show has been extremely long. Hello, Stephen Fally. It's good. Thank you very much for joining us. Very much at the end there. There's obviously big up, mate. Thanks very much for coming on, Chelsea. And so, can I just say, Stephen Fally, you and whoever you had on your show that night, you guys laughed at me for saying that we were not going to turn up against Arsenal and I expected a draw. Can I just say, I was obviously right in it. We actually lost, but you just know with Chelsea that when we don't turn up. But thank you very much for coming in, even though it was at the very end. All support is absolutely welcomed, and I'm enjoying your channel too. So hopefully we can do more together. You'll be more than welcome to come on the show. I'm sure Reece would have you on with open arms too. But we are going to have to wrap it up because it's been a long show. A lot has been talked about. Nathan, thank you very much for coming on at late notice. Obviously, you're more than welcome on too. Obviously, because if you've got nothing else to do better on a Monday night, unless Reece is in a bad mood,
I'd be more than happy to come on.
Unless Reece is in a bad mood, I don't think he'll disagree with having you on. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I hope you're enjoying this new podcast. This is going to surprise everyone, but I will have 3 uploads coming this week on the channel. Bearing uploads to plan. The first one is the Chelsea season review. The second one is my Euro prediction for the first set of games, and then the third one is a very special video that I have scripted for for the last few weeks, which is a mental health awareness video, explaining my own personal story. That took place not too long ago, hoping that will help everyone else on the internet. So that one may be delayed a wee because I wanted to be pitch perfect, scripted, edited, everything. So, but that's the 3 videos coming. 2 videos definitely this week. The third one hopefully will do if I get it all together. So, if you guys did enjoy this podcast, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the stream. Reece's socials are in the description. I will add Nathan, so Nathan's is in his name.
And that's my first time actually taking the hosting section on board. Like, obviously, I do my Twitch. That's the first time I've actually taken the sense of co-host and actually ran with it.
I think next we're going to have to get you to do the intro, aren't we? And also keep an eye on my Twitter, which is also in the description for next game. But hope you guys all enjoyed. Please enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys during the week for the Chelsea season review. See you later, guys. Take it easy.